Well, what it do? Welcome to the show, man. Another episode of Outlaw Radio. Finally, we weren't on earlier this week, and y'all know how I hate to miss a show, but we had to do. But I'm here, and I'm not alone, and I want to welcome everybody aboard for this week's episode. The first episode that we'll do, ironically, this week of Outlaw Radio. Babies and Fools. I got my brothers with me. Mr. Carter, what's popping with you, bruh?
Peace, life, and how everybody doing. Welcome to Outlaw. Talk that talk. Walk. Raise my break. Talk. I am the black brother, the culture, teacher, family wisdom, or holistic wellness coach. I'm also the one who makes service supplements like this Monday. Here you need to see what's popping.
What's going on, Kamar? Welcome back. We're having a little audio difficulty on your end. We're gonna tighten that up because I want people to hear what the witch doctor got to say. I got this boy Rail here with me. What's popping with you, Rail?
Hey man, just blessed to be here.
Man, babies and fools. Normally we're here on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays and Thursdays. This week we decided to take a holiday on Monday. And Tuesday I wasn't able to do the Big Black Sports Show because I was kind of relocating, getting back into the groove of things, getting back into the studio, as you can tell. If you follow the show, you know I had a situation with my back, so I was unable to really get into my studio, into my lab for a long time, and then I just decided that we will refurbish it and just kind of do some different things with it. So this is the start of it, so bear with us tonight. I'm going to try to get this done. But, you know, I'm happy to be here, man. It's a lot to talk about. A lot has happened since we've been on the air. Shout out to Courtney, wherever she is, if she's able to join us tonight. Shout out to the sister Chastity Washington, who was with us last time we were on. Great show, man. Funny sister. Shout out to Trav Too Funny. Shout out to Twan Mack, who I seen this morning is actually going to be going on a world tour with Arrested Development and speech, and he was really emotional about that, and he was shouting them out. So, and I know Twan Mack has been at the rap game in Milwaukee for a long time, and so, you know, he talked about how difficult it's been at times and how his perseverance is starting to pay off for him. So shout out to him. Shout out to Antonia Anderson with the Hip Hop Museum 365. Man, shout out to Coach Tank, Larry Perdue, and Coach Tank is, you know, just got a new coaching assignment. It's a bunch of my brothers who I coach with who are going to be moving around to some new locations. They got some new opportunities, and that's what it's about, man. So everything is everything, man. We're going to try to make it do what it do tonight. There's a lot of things going on. Why did I call the show Babies and Fools? Why do y'all think I called it Babies and Fools, right? We're going to get into that. The chat room is popping as usual. I see we already got some people in there. Let me check this chat room. Pull that up. Shout out to Tycee Gossi, man. Control C. She said Control C is in the building for all your copy and printing needs. No doubt. Strong supporters of the show. I got to get some work. I got to get y'all to do some work for me because we got some stuff coming up we want to do. Kamar, I want to make sure your audio's good. I see you had a lot going on, and I couldn't wait to get you on because I seen you doing some pictures in the community. I seen you with Reggie Brown, and I seen you with all these people with the Vitality. So what did you have going on?
Well, you know, it's just me, man. I was about doing my thing, man. You know, I was in the community. I had a host. And, you know, I know years ago about these happening. We have a great people. You know, we appreciate that. I made my you know, he my man's love.
Okay. Come on, we got to get your audio cleared up, man, because I'm in your business hardcore because I want to know you hobnobbing with celebrities and the whole nine. I got to get all of this clear because I'm hoping you represent the Outlaw.
Go to the laptop.
Okay. Rel, what's popping, man? You ain't got the locks. You ain't shaking the Shirley Temples today, man. What's going on?
Man, my baby brought some cooties home from school that was whooping my ass for a whole week. So I'm just feeling a little bit better today. You know what I'm saying? I'm shaking it off. been staying with my sea moss and everything like that. My ginger and all that good shit.
Man, the craziest part is my daughter is here from school in Minnesota. And actually, my son had an AAU tournament over the weekend, and he gave me what you call them cooties. He gave it to me too. You know what I mean? So I was down, like the other night, I was really down. I was like, man, I'm hoping, because I had COVID in the fall, and I was like, I hope I don't got this shit again, man. And so gracefully, I don't have the same symptoms that I had then, because I know COVID kicked my ass in last October, man. And so I'm praying that don't nobody get that bug. But man, it's crazy. I used to be able to get a cold and get the sniffles and whatnot and be able to move and groove like it wasn't no thing, man, when I was a young stallion. But now, man, a brother be wrapped up under a blanket. I be needing my wife to put the thermometer under my tongue and the whole nine, man. Like, give me some soup. So yeah, man, I totally understand that. You know what? I wanted to give we always start off with like some condolences. And there was a tragic accident last week on 39th and Lisbon in which a sister, she was a pedestrian and she was killed by somebody in a car accident. One of the drivers ran a light, and the other car went up on the curb and hit this sister, man. And the reckless driving it just hasn't stopped. We see it's getting hot again. We see that the youngsters is jumping up and down again, want to go up to the schools and drive crazy, I got the footage in the People's News Network in which the kids are driving on the grass out at Hamilton High School and whatnot. I see Chevy Johnson his solution is to start the way they're going to start is towing cars that are not registered, that are used in reckless driving, which is kind of silly to me because most of these cars, for the most part, are stolen. So, shout out to Tiarsha Arthur. She said, good evening. How you doing, my sister? Welcome to the show.
Good evening.
But yeah, man, reckless driving in Milwaukee. I know all three of us have been in kind of agreeing on the fact that we probably need to put down some mandatory minimums to kind of curb this thing. I'd like to know what the people out there think. Y'all let me know. Because like I said, man, it seemed like sometimes the only way you can teach people something is to straighten up to tighten up the punitive nature of the punishment. So just to make this more punitive for people to know, hey, 15 years minimum, for a stolen whip, another 15 if you get into an accident, another 15 if you take a life. Brothers getting 45 years off one incident. And I hate to say that because I never endorse black men being locked up in this prison system. But come on, man, at this point, it's starting to get so ridiculous. How long will it be before one of these crazy kids at one of these schools hit one of our babies and kill one of our kids, man? And then everybody's going to come out and be screaming for help. But I think we need to take this by the reins, man, and call it what it is. Call a spade and say, let's make this more punitive, man. Let's whoop a little. We talked about the sad part is, how do you teach a brother something? How do you teach a black man something? You got to whoop his ass, right? Like, it sounds slave master-ish. And I hate to be the one to say that. Y'all let me know how y'all feel, man. Something got to be done about this, man. I get pissed, man. I take this shit so personal because I take such a personal stake of ownership in our community. So what you think about this shit, man?
Honestly, fam, when my brother Kamar was saying that mandatory minimum, and I was like, damn, eventually that's gonna hurt the wrong people. But nah, after seeing that video, man, these people ain't got no concern for other life. So I don't see it no other way.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like when after a certain point, and we talk about the crack thing, right? Because everybody's looking at we with the mandatory minimums, with the predators and all this shit that Biden and Clinton and them came up with, and then a lot of brothers ended up going to jail who probably shouldn't have been there, and then some of the punishment didn't match the crime. But in this situation, you behind the wheel of a stolen car, you smashing, you crash. I think that's pretty clear cut, right? Like so, I don't think it'll be as many accidental victims. Kamar, let's test your audio again because I want you to jump in here with this.
I think it ought to be some mandatory minimums. You know what I'm saying? Okay, like you get caught in a stolen car, something else happened. That should be some kind of enhancer now. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you get 10 years for the stolen car. Something else happened. You get caught reckless driving in that stolen car. Now that's another 10 years to go on top of that. You know what I'm saying? We got to do something. And maybe 5, 10 years from now, you know what I'm saying? All the stolen cars, all the stolies, and that whole fad may subside a bit. Then we can go back to it and change that law.
That's right. That's right. And I like the fact that you said, let's put it in effect. And then when it kind of goes, when it starts to go away, then we can look at making an adjustment. But right now, it just needs to be done, right? Like it needs to get started. Yeah, shout out to Tiasha Arthur. She's in the chat room. She said, at first I didn't want the kids to go to jail. Now, yes, give them a year. And if you do it again, 5 years, take a life because you're driving recklessly, 30 years and more. I mean, yeah, we got to figure something out. Because, you know, and then, you know, the sad part about it is in a lot of the cases, the kids that are doing this you find out that they've already had like some sort of offense, like they received a slap on the wrist, or, you know, it's like a lot of gun crimes. Someone who ends up taking somebody else's life with a gun or something, you find out, okay, well, they were just caught with a gun or they were just caught with a pistol and they shouldn't have been out, right? Like, so, like I say, I'm all for, because I was a youngster who was a knucklehead, and because I know that, you know, what young people do typically in life is mess up, right? I get that. You make mistakes. That's what you do. But at this point, man, you know, where do we draw the line at, right? Like, so I just feel like, you know, we got to come up with some solution, man. And then I want to give to the dumb son bitch who attacked the 74-year-old sister who was going to deliver food to a sick friend. Let me tell you something. It's a special place in hell for you if you attack an elderly lady. Something's wrong with your mind. It's like those individuals who go and sexually assault elderly women. Something's wrong with your ass, right? I have absolutely no mercy for. They should make you walk through the butt buster ward in prison backwards. And you should already be pre-oiled up. You should be pre-lubed, and they should let them have at you. And it shouldn't be you shouldn't have no rights for the first 48 hours that you spend in prison, man. Let me tell you something. I have elderly women in my family, and if one of my 70-something-year-old aunties was attacked by some dumbass motherfucker, we be riding deep looking for him, man. So whoever he is, and I don't want to hear about mental health, okay? I don't want to hear that shit, because his ass was old enough to distinguish between going at an old lady and going at a regular. Go after one of these young gangsters. Go after one of these young thugs out here. What you pick an old lady and go attack her? Come on, man. I'm gonna tell you like this. And I don't believe in vigilante justice, but if I'm driving by and I see that, I'm running your ass over. I'm gonna drive my shit up on the sidewalk and I'm running you over. You don't put your hands on no elderly woman, man. That's somebody's mama. That's somebody's grandmother. That's somebody's auntie. Who knows? That's somebody's babysitter, goddammit, who raised you when your mama was out or your daddy was out working. That is an important part of the community. One of the reasons that we have so many problems in our community is because we don't value our elderly enough, and we don't draw enough knowledge from them so that we can improve our state of life. So I'm just saying, man, I feel a certain way about that. Courtney, welcome to the show. It's been a while, sis. What's going on?
Oh, well. How y'all doing?
We tight like Nat Booty tonight. What's good with you?
I'm doing well. I had to leave my bathroom, so I'm late.
Okay, it's all good. As long as you here. The name of the show tonight is Babies and Fools, and we're going to talk about the fools. We've been talking about the fools, the stolies. We're talking about these shooters and looters, and I keep asking, at what point do we get enough of the bullshit? You know, we're going to get to that conversation, and I want people out there to share the show, because I want to have a conversation about this Roe versus Wade thing. And that's why I said babies and fools. There's a lot of different aspects to this. If you don't know what Roe versus Wade is, we're going to educate you on that. And if you have never considered the actual different parts of this conversation, hopefully we can throw that in there for you tonight. I'm glad we got Courtney here, who is a woman, obviously. And Courtney, I seen you voice a strong opinion about this on Facebook. So we're going to go into this. Now, if you don't know, Roe versus Wade is the federal act that made abortions legal in this country, I believe around 1973, 1974. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. And so this was passed in hopes to stop the spread of illegal abortions, because at one point abortion was illegal. And so women were going into back alley places and going and doing all kinds of crazy things to get abortions. Somebody got to turn they device down. Hold on. Ooh, that was bad. Whoever that caller was, you got to turn your device down. You got to turn your device down. I can't, because we can't hear. The echo is too bad. So we're going to talk about Roe versus Wade. And once again, I've always fashioned myself as a pro-choice type of person, right? Because I don't believe men should be able to tell women what to do with their bodies, especially with pregnancy. And whether
that's the shit white men started.
we gonna get there. Kamar, you jumped in, take the reins. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the shit white men started. You know what I mean? You talk about control over women. They got this thing about control. You know what I mean? They want control over black people. They want control over women. They want control over their women. That's where the shit probably started. You know what I mean? But with abortion, I mean, they want us to abort our kids. That's why they put Planned Parenthoods in our neighborhoods all over the place and shit. So, you know what I mean? With us, is more population control.
Okay. Let me see if I can get this caller. Caller, I think I got you clear. You live on Outlaw Radio. What's the deal?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing fine. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Man, I'm from the city, right here off Atkinson, where the hoodlums and the hood rats be. But right now, we trying to upgrade. We want to do better, but we don't got nobody to direct us. I don't know what to say about them beating up on these old people. I don't know why these kids is raising kids. I see why the abortion law is intact, because the people who having these kids ain't watching them. We got to figure out how could we get some understanding and everybody be educated on where they supposed to be and what they supposed to be doing. There's no sense of direction. Ain't nobody telling you to come, go, stop, turn, left, right, upside down. Everybody just in a whirlwind trying to make the best of their life. 8 to 80, blind, crippled, and crazy. I think everybody got something that they need to contribute to our neighborhood, but they don't, because these kids don't want to listen. You can't tell them nothing. I was standing here right here by the smoke shop on 27th, 20th and Capitol. It's 2 kids outside begging for blunts. Where y'all mama at? Why y'all outside like that?
Right.
It's like you don't have a resolution to none of these problems. Mm-hmm. And then if I don't get them a blunt so they can go in the house and sit down, they go try to steal somebody's car. You can't win for losing around this motherfucker, for real.
That's right. That's right. And shout out to that. That's my neighborhood. I grew up on 17th and Capitol. So Capitol Drive and Atkinson stand up every day, all day. And that was KFC when I was over there. So now it's a tobacco shop.
I remember that.
We was raised off that damn KFC over there. That's why every time I drive by now, I'm like, that's some bullshit. It's a smoke shop now. But yeah. I definitely hear you, my sister. I definitely hear you. I do believe that, we got an issue with these kids out here too, with no real guidance, which is why it's so much more important for us to respect elderly people and to really draw for them as a fountain of knowledge and listen to them. Not just because a lot of times I don't want to hear that shit. You old. Well, when you was born, this person was already an adult, so you got to respect. It's about respect. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
I want to put something else in y'all ear though.
Okay.
This JJ's over here.
J&J's. Yes, ma'am.
I think they trafficking our kids.
Uh-oh.
Damn.
Why you say that?
Because I was in there the other day buying chicken and witnessed the dude at the register with her mama asking her, do she want a job, but not selling chicken. So what kind of job you giving her? Mopping the floor? Where the resume application at? And I'm standing in line just observing the conversation, but when you have kids raising kids, people can't read between the lines. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't be really that smart to see that they selling their kids for little or nothing.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. Obviously you are a sister, so are you pro-choice or are you pro-life?
I'm pro-choice and I'm pro-life. You should have the choice to make a life, and you should have the choice not to make a life. A lot of these kids are getting raped by their daddies. Why you gonna tell them to keep that baby? Shit, this is crazy. The world is crazy. You cannot win for losing.
Wow, that's the perspective we wanted to talk about. Yes, that's that, and that's where we were going with the conversation. So I'm glad that you call in and drop those jewels on us.
Man, I love y'all. I'm glad y'all touching on these touchy topics because don't nobody want to talk about it.
Oh, we gonna do it tonight. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support.
I love y'all. Y'all keep y'all head up. Keep talking. Hey, we need to rent this library out and have a rescue mission, a clothes drive. Everybody bring their old ass Jordans down here and give them away to these kids.
Wait, so
or whatever.
So have they not opened Atkinson Library up after the pandemic? Is it not open?
Yeah, it's been open. I don't know. I ain't been to the library since you, Kevin.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was just finna say because that's what I'm saying. I was born and raised over there.
Masks away and they didn't have no masks. They gave masks to everybody but people over here.
Oh wow. Yeah, we're gonna have to look into that. It's a lot of stuff over there that's vacant because Atkinson used to have businesses up and down it, and they all closed now. So it's definitely a lot to be done. And they had a bid over there a couple years back, and I don't know what happened to it. But it's definitely something that needs to be looked into. I grew up going to the corner store on 19th, going to KFC, going to True Value, going to the barbershop. Hey, even when I got older and was corrupted, I was drinking at J&J's Tap. So,
Love's Liquor Store. You see the new Love's Liquor Store? The Arabs is taking over our community. We got to figure out how we can get up in our own shit.
That's
y'all
right.
Can't come in and buy in without asking us.
That's
y'all
right.
just come in here, y'all buying shit that ain't even for sale. This shit is crazy.
Yeah, we're going to have to take
Man,
it
I
back.
love y'all. I'm going to get out the phone. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers and the mothers that be watching other people's kids and the mamas that wish they could watch their kids. I love y'all. Keep y'all head up.
All right, thanks, sis. All right.
Sure.
Shout out to my homie, my big homie, Joey Phillips, who was also raised in that neighborhood. He said, try that. He said, true that. They be at our kids. She's right. Yeah, I know. Look, I've seen Arab business people over the years say and do some way inappropriate things with our sisters and our children. So I know that to be a fact. We just haven't made up our mind as a community to go in there and regulate them. Tiarsha Arthur says some of these elderly people put them 6 feet under. Oh yeah. Oh, it's some old men out here right now. They put I pop you in your ass. You don't get off my goddamn yard. Oh yeah. So back to the conversation about abortion though, because like I said, now Kamar, I hear your perspective. Because we talk about Margaret Sanger, and if you don't know how Planned Parenthood was established and Margaret Sanger with eugenics, and basically they were looking for a solution to what they called the Negro problem in the United States of America, which was a bunch of poor black people. Never ever discussing the fact that they were the main reason why black people were so disenfranchised in the first place. Their solution was to sterilize black women and men who were poor so that they couldn't have children, and that's the start of Planned Parenthood. Now people say, Kevin, over the years it has evolved and it's a different thing now, but this is what it's based on. And so if we look at this right now, I didn't know this until I done research around this topic, that black abortion for black women is 5 times the rate of the abortion rate for white women. I did not know that. It is the #1 murderer of black babies. It ain't homicide. It ain't diabetes like everybody want to say. It's abortion. So are we talking about a situation where people are in dire straits where they're saying, okay, my uncle just knocked me up, I was raped, or I just found out this baby is going to be biologically deformed or limited. I don't know if I can still use the word deformed. Or is it simply people just out here barebacking, being reckless, getting pregnant, and then saying, oh, I don't want to be a father or a mother right now, and going to have the abortion? So
I'm
Courtney,
saying all these situations, Kev.
okay, go ahead.
All of them. You know what I'm saying? You know, people having kids that are going to have disabilities, people that have been raped, people that just use it as a form of birth control. And shit, I've had an abortion.
Okay.
I had an abortion, I was pregnant, and the person I got pregnant by, it was like he didn't have a job, seemed like he wasn't trying to get one, and I was just so sick. Like I lost my job because I was so sick. And I had my oldest son, who's 15 now. He was like 4 at the time. And I was so sick I couldn't take care of him. I had to send him down to Georgia to his dad. So I sent him to his dad. I lost my job. I'm just laying around throwing up and I can't do anything. And it's like, what the fuck am I finna do? Like, we finna get evicted and just be fucked up? I mean, trying to carry this baby? Or like, what are we finna do in this situation here?
Okay.
So, yeah, sometimes it's some shit. And then, you know, the people act like you have abortions and it's just that. I mean, some people do just wrong with their lives, but a lot of people do have a little bit of trauma. I mean, you've taken a life. You know, you think about how you're going to have to deal with this shit. You don't know that if, when you die, you got to deal with these kids. You know what I'm saying? Deal with these kids. You can board that they right there when you die. That's your judgment. seeing them. So yeah, it's a thing.
Well, see, and I feel like, there's a couple different things to look at, because the people who are really gonna hurt behind this are people who can't conceive, right? And I know there's a lot of people out there, I don't like kids, I don't want kids. If most people, right, like most sane people, you want to leave this earth, you want to leave something that's kind of a part of you on this earth. I know I couldn't. For the longest, I thought I wouldn't be able to have kids, because I was a young stallion out here, what I mean, playing the field. I didn't think I was ever going to meet no girl worthy of my seed. But once I'm talking shit. But once I did, I wanted kids. That was part of the thing that made me want to marry my wife, is because I said I can have children by this girl right here. This is a woman who could have my babies. And I love my kids, right? I wish I had more, even though my wife is like, who going to carry them? Because she didn't want to carry anymore. But people who can't actually biologically conceive children, and so they looking at people who are basically going to the doctor, getting rid of kids, getting rid of babies, and now the debate is what is the actual abortion process? Because you see protesters with pictures and say, no, this is a full-grown embryo. Then I seen somebody put up a post today that say it's just a clump of cells at this point. So we can talk about it from that perspective. Real, what you think? You pro-choice, you pro-life?
I'm actually pro-choice, man. Growing up, I was a real Bible thumper, where I was against abortion and all that stuff. But like the grown folks say, just keep on living, and that made me more so pro-choice. But I look at I guess my question is this: how long before they retract it? Because it's really gonna fuck up people's money. Because Planned Parenthood is big business. They get bread to abort the baby. Then they do back-end deals selling the aborted fetuses at a rate like $50 per fetus. Or at least that's what it was like 10 years ago type shit. Okay. So, I mean, I think eventually when niggas money, well, not niggas, but when these folk money get fucked up, they gonna be lobbying to bring that shit back.
But okay, so if you illegalize abortion, right? Now, aren't we now looking at the back alley abortions? Because people are not going to stop. The one thing about America is you don't get to tell people what to do, right? Like people, like we say drugs are illegal. What we do? We get high. You say you can't drink. Alcohol is illegal. What we do? We get drunk. You say you can't own guns. What we do? We get guns. So when you tell Americans what they can't do, it seems like they get more proactive in doing it and doing it on a bigger scale. So now we start to look at young, scared girls who get in these situations, going to some back alley practitioner, either losing her life or making herself unable to have children in the future. So when she does have her thing together and she meets someone and she says, you know what, I'm mature enough now, I want to have a baby, only to find out that you did some damage to yourself because of that abortion. And so some people said that was the reasoning behind them legalizing abortion. Or is this just a simple case of the government putting their mouth in your motherfucking business? I just think it should just be legal and leave it alone. Like, I feel like sometimes the government does too much. And of course, this is all based on a leak. This hasn't happened yet. This is a leak that was allegedly, done by the Supreme Court. But it lets you know that the conversation is in the air. I don't know what the reason would be for them going back to revisit this now. And if somebody out there has more insight on it than me, that's possible. Shout out to Most Def, Lenny. I can't say that. Lenny Lenope. I said he's spitting that fire.
That's right. That's how I would have said it.
Right. See, you know how I do it. I will chop your name up if I can't say it. Lenape. Black people put that shit together.
Yeah, my thing is, okay, with the people that can't have children, like I was hearing a conversation about the abortion rights and people not being able to have and then as soon as they went to commercial, it was a foster care adoption commercial about how so many kids are in foster care and adoption. No one comes in adoption. But then it's, we're worried about the people that can't have kids. Well, shit, ain't nobody going to give the kids need to be adopted. So, okay, we carry these babies to term. We go put them in foster care, and now it's just a system just full of kids and shit. And then on the, God damn it, Kev, I had nothing to say. What did you just say, Kev? What were you just talking about?
Oh, I was just agreeing with you. I just said, yeah.
No, what you say before this, I had something to say about it.
I was talking about
we go back.
the back alley abortions, or the government with their mouth.
In the back alley, like this chick, I heard the news story. I don't know if it was Texas or wherever, but she basically tried to do her own abortion. She fucked some shit up. So she went to the hospital. You know, they passed her up, but then they called the police. And then she got arrested. So, like you said, people are going to still do this. If they're pregnant, they don't want this baby. Motherfuckers gonna figure out something. They will kill themselves trying to figure out a way.
Wow. Tiasha Arthur says she's seen 10 kids in their 20s around 16th and Capitol that look just like me. I don't know if she's talking to me. Not me. Because when I was out, when I was out here, I was wrapped up tight in some bitch. No. I've been married 21 years, so it couldn't be. My wife like, really? Let's add this shit up. No, that's dangerous for you to do that. No. Maybe she was talking about Rail. I think she was talking about you. You know,
possibly.
Right? He said, I'm that baby's pappy. Right? Jesse Parrish, he said, welcome back, Outlaws. I missed y'all. Hey, we missed y'all too, man. Once again, I got a chance to start the refurbishing of the studio, so I'm back in my studio now. Bear with me. It'll look better as we move along. Shout out to my wife, who was patient with me because I'm a caveman, and I'd be like, let's just put this shit up so I can do a show, and she'd be like, no, that's not the look, and we're not gonna do it like that. So it turned into a whole, where she has to have a certain savoir-faire, but we was able to work together and get it done. So shout out to her. But we're happy to be back. It's Outlaw Radio on a hump day, ironically, because we didn't come on Monday. It's Babies and Fools, right? And we're talking about, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the Supreme Court possibly overturning Roe versus Wade. Brother Che from Frontline Black News and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. He said he's going to be the next mayor of Denver in 2023. That's what's up, my brother. Run, Jesse, run. Right. So, yeah, man, abortions, man. Once again, I think the one thing that we've always talked about on this show as men, because it's always been a platform that was catered to brothers, but we always welcome some estrogen, is I feel like we don't get to tell women what to do with their bodies, like whether we agree with it or not. Now, as a man, if I have a female and she's pregnant, if I have a woman and she says, well, I'm going to have a baby and I don't want to have it, and I say, I don't want you to get rid of my baby, right? Like, I believe that she shouldn't get rid of it. I believe the man should have a say. So if he says, no, I'm going to raise my child, don't get rid of my baby. So in that case, I feel like there should be some kind of measures taken so that maybe some signatures are required. Because if anything, you can regulate it. I don't think you make it illegal. I think maybe you can regulate it. And especially if it's a young girl, you got to have some parental guidance. We got to speak to somebody who can, that can say they're your parent or your legal guardian. Like, there's a bunch of different ways we can fine tune it without just saying it's illegal. I mean, damn, what have we not learned anything in this country about saying legal versus illegal, right? Like, and we're going to talk about this later on, where now they want to come down on the Delta 8 THC, marijuana, and this kind of thing. Like, make it illegal. And the government has no morals. The United States government doesn't have a moral code. If they did, they wouldn't send drones with missiles and bombs to blow up women and children in foreign countries. Stop acting like they're humanitarians. We care so much about you. This is why I'm saying, what's the reasoning behind them even revisiting this? They don't give a shit about black babies dying, especially in a city where, in Milwaukee, like where if you take the abortion rate plus the infant mortality rate, well, goddamn, how many babies are we losing? We losing a whole generation. So, I mean, I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Let me know what y'all think tonight. Tiasha Arthur said this was my question. What was the question, sister? I missed. I was running my motherfucking mouth. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She said it was a question. But Kamar, I know, and we've had doulas on here. We've had sisters on here who talk about rearing and I've always thought that women looked at the ability to give birth as a supreme gift from God. Kamar always says the black woman is God because she has the ability to give life.
Yes,
so
she is.
Where does that leave us at? So then does that make her equal parts the devil?
I think right now we also, you can't forget, you got to look at the state that we in right now.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that play a part in it also, what was going on out here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that is God. That's the highest aspect of God that we can find is creation. You know what I mean? And we find that in our black mothers, you know what I'm saying, in our black women. There is a divine aspect to it. I think women have the ultimate say-so on what to do. But I think with a healthy-minded woman, she would take in the suggestions of what the man would want to do too.
Okay.
That's the key word.
But then you take it to another level, like I say, a healthy mind.
Right.
You know what
That's
I mean?
it.
So a healthy-minded woman probably would want to keep it.
Okay.
If the baby's had under the right circumstances, because you know some women may get pregnant under rape or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, I think the bottom line is we can't tell a woman what to do with her body. When we get with her, we have to have an understanding, or I have to understand that, or I would have to think that her mind is solid enough for me to deal with before I even get with her.
Yeah. Isn't this just a reminder though? Like I feel like a lot of people play with sex, right? And don't get me wrong. It's fun. It's all good, right? Like it's nothing like it, right? We know that. And if you're and I'm a person that I'm not a prude, and I know Rail is always commenting on how he's the resident freak on the show, right? Like Rail has got a whole stripper pole in his basement, right? Not to call him out, because you know, I'm just saying
all good, you know,
we're all adults. We live in a sex positive, you know, society. Like it's not the 50s where it's this conservative kind of perspective on sex and all this. But with understanding the benefits of having fun, freaky fun, adult fun, should we not be more careful about how to have sex responsibly? So you know, I know in the 90s, because we were scared of what we used to call that package, right? And now it's crazy. We can talk about this too. We were so scared of AIDS in the 90s and the 80s that like it was like you didn't dare have sex without a condom. If you did, we called you a Marlboro man. That was the cowboy who used to be on the billboard signs and used to be riding the horses. Like brothers didn't even, if you said you didn't strap up, brothers be like, dude, what is you, a fool? That's kind of going away. Like
My
because
generation didn't care about that.
Right. That's where we at. So like this is what I'm saying. If you out here, and I'm not talking about a sister who's getting raped, right? Because if you're getting raped, that's a violation, and death to that motherfucker who raped you, because that's out of pocket, right? But if you out here getting it in, right, you throwing it back or whatever y'all call it now, I don't know, I'm out the loop, whatever, clapping your cheeks, whatever. I don't know, somebody put me up on the newest lingo with the shit, right? But if you out here doing that and you get pregnant, I don't feel like you should get rid of the baby. It's not that child's fault. Look, the child wasn't knocking, you just opened the door. No pun intended, right? You know what happens. Sex is an intentional act, right? If you are having sex and you decide I'm not going to use protection and I'm not a master of the pullout, I'm not a Jedi Knight with mine, I'm going to go ahead and let this thing loose, there's a possibility somebody's going to get pregnant. I don't see how you can. Now, well, we have the plan B joint, but I'm saying I still feel like it's irresponsible as an adult to go and have unprotected sex and then come back and say, oh, well, I don't want to be a parent. Well, what the hell was you screwing bareback for and then not even trying to pull out or nothing? So I don't know. Let's throw that around, because I feel like if you old enough to have, and I get it, you have sex, you're young, you say, I didn't know. But this is the Google era. You don't got no excuse. Jump on there and say, what happens if I have unprotected sex? When they get done running down them STDs that your ass might get, because in Milwaukee, we just did a show a couple weeks ago where we talked about a syphilis rate that's out of control. Gonorrhea, a mega gonorrhea bug, that superrhea, is running loose in Milwaukee. And HIV is still out there. I know people think, yeah. But so it leads to bigger conversations, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm about to check with the chat room. Tiarsha Arthur's asking Joey Phillips, what about Alexis Patterson? Oh, we're going to talk about Alexis Patterson. You better believe we're going to get to that, because that's a neighborhood thing, too. Aaron Brown said keep it legal, but if it's a weak reason for the abortion, maybe a DA should file a quick and fast complaint and take it to trial. That's a waste of taxpayers' money because somebody had their heels in the air. Courtney, you was going to say something? Okay. I mean, we got to go to court because I hit it and quit it. And listen, I'm not trying to be, but I hit it. I quit it. I left some DNA. You pregnant. I'm in the wind. You going to go file charges? I mean, people say she going to go get child support. So what's the difference? I don't know. That's why
Yeah,
I
I was
don't
gonna
dismiss
say,
it.
men, it is a thing now. Yeah, you want to get an abortion, you got charges against you, or they can sue you too. You try and get an abortion, the dad can definitely sue you.
I don't. You know what? To me, what kind of man has sex with a woman and then she says, "I'm pregnant," and he says, "Well, you need to get an abortion." Right? Like that's a whole weak ass dude, right? And I get
married man.
Really?
All the time.
Is that it? Is that it? Come on. I don't know.
Yeah. A
Okay.
married
What
man.
about the
Married
mom?
men do it all the time.
Okay.
They get a chick pregnant. Well, no, I can't let my wife hear about this. You got to get an abortion.
Yeah.
Well, I would tell any married man that's gonna come back to haunt you.
Yeah, it definitely will. I'm just saying. You said, I'm just asking you a question. You said, what kind of man would do that? I said, a married man.
You're right. Or if now listen, if you are, I mean, he wake up the next morning and be like, "Damn, I did that. Ooh, look at her. Like, I hope she, I mean, look, I went to what do you call it? What the prenatal classes, Lamaze. I went to that with my wife with my first kid, my daughter, right? And there was a brother in there with a chick who, goodness gracious, there had to be Hennessy or cocaine involved or something, if not heroin. Right. I mean, come on, like there's no way. And to go, raw, and she was pregnant, and he was just, the pressure was killing him the whole time because it was mostly brothers in there. We was in there with our wives, everybody was wifed up, everybody was loving and we was looking at him like, bruh, how you do that, right?
That was a sneaky link.
That was just, it was horrible. It was bad. Like, I don't judge nobody.
Had one of them before we got together. I seen the pictures. I was like, ugh. He's like, you always got to keep an ugly one. I'm like, see, that's probably what dude did. Had him an ugly one. Fucked around. See?
No, this one was understandably disturbing, right? Like I was looking at her like, really, bro? Like, I think all of us were, and eventually the pressure broke him, right? He just like stormed out, like, oh, this shit might not even be mine.
I ain't doing this shit. I don't need no money.
Right, and like the women all cried, and my wife was like slapping me, like, you so wrong, because I was wondering when he was gonna walk away from her, but I get his brother credit, or maybe I don't even know. Maybe he didn't tell her to have an abortion because he was at the Lamaze joint. So maybe he was like, well, if it's mine, because I'm of the mindset, look, just because I made a mistake, right? If I stepped out on my wife and there's a baby involved, I'm not going to kill the baby. I'm not going to say get an abortion. I'm going to have to go to my wife and say, look, this ain't good for none of us, but I'm not going to kill the baby. It's not the baby's fault. I'm going to have to, do what I got to do to take care of this child. That might happen too, right? That might happen too. That might happen too, Kamar. I'm glad you know my wife, right?
So you won't even have to worry about it.
Right. You got a what, motherfucker?
You won't have to worry about that no more.
Right, no.
But he sure won't. I swear he won't.
Right, no. But I'm, once again, like I said, it's tough decisions, it's hard conversations. Tiarsha Arthur was saying, why are they bringing it back up? The Supreme Court already voted on this years ago. The woman should be able to make her the choice to have one or not. I just don't agree with it. When the woman is in the second trimester, I also don't agree with you using it as a form of birth control. That's a good point, Tiarsha Arthur. It should not be used as a form of birth control. You are entirely right. That's wrong. How in the hell you won't cover up, but you say, don't worry about it, I just go get an abortion. Something wrong with you. You sick. I mean, that is actually, you're taking a life for all intents and purposes. And I don't know in what form. I don't know the ins and outs of when you can abort and what it looks like. I know I've driven past some protesters before and they've had pictures up or whatnot, and they were saying, this is what the actual baby they killed looks like. I don't know. But I definitely don't believe it should be a source of birth control. Like, yeah, with this, I'm going to make sure I don't have no kids. Aaron Brown said they're bringing it back up because they're trying to get people to tear this motherfucker up. All the Black Lives Matter, Antifa, et cetera, didn't work, so they toying with this. Don't you think it's suspicious that a leak came out? It is very suspicious. Very suspicious.
Don't forget about the bird flu.
Yeah,
right.
shit, I must have it because I've been coughing my ass off ever since my daughter walked. Right, yeah.
You better leave them chickens and shit alone.
That's right. Tell him, Kamar.
It ain't the chickens. Actually, my son had a sniffle at his AAU tournament. I was out there hobnobbing with them white people. I think I may have SARS. I don't know.
Well, I ain't saying you, but it is some shit going on with these chickens right now, man.
I mean, even with that, I honestly think all of it's a distraction, just like Fam was saying. I mean, you know, the world's a stage, and this get people distracted and in an uproar about this shit. But just like y'all said, now they saying that chickens is fucked up and they got to kill 2 million of them. And then 18 packaging factories done mysteriously burned up, making more of a food shortage. So, like, really, I'll be thinking this shit a distraction. You know, I'm the conspiracy theorist, but you know, it's like it comes up now while so much other shit going on.
What could be behind it, though? If there's a conspiracy here, because we're talking about, some people will look at this and say, if they're talking about making it illegal, then that would kind of curb the amount of babies that are aborted. So this is not really about population control. So what would be the benefits of it? Like, that's
the distraction away from the other chess move, as far as the food shortage with the 18 plants burning down mysteriously. And then them saying they had to kill 2 million chickens because they had some kind of flu type shit.
Okay.
How about the distraction that they've been putting towards us since they implemented religion on us to get us unfocused for ourselves?
Okay, y'all talking.
They got us thinking about all this physical shit out here to the point where we forgetting about our spiritual self on how well that is actually. You know what I mean? It's just the physical out here that's doing bad, man. Our spirits is doing great.
Okay.
So if they can get our focus off of that and keep us debating about Will Smith and Chris Rock, the bird flu, the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? Ain't none of us focused on making ourselves better. We thinking about all this other shit, worrying about what's going on wrong in the world instead of worrying about what's going on wrong in ourselves.
Right.
Okay. Understand that perspective. I'm looking at my brother Joey. He says, Stephanie Bowles, that's a great question, and I'm trying to find the right way to answer that, but I feel you for real. Wow. I think they were talking about Alexis Patterson. I have to go back. I don't always see every question, y'all, so if it seems like I'm skipping ahead, I know T.R. Arthur always be like, Kev, open up your flip phone or whatever, but I'm actually not using the flip phone. But I will fuck up on these comments because I'll be trying to walk and chew gum at the same time. So if I miss something, let me know. Aaron Brown said order out of chaos. He said the only reason is order out of chaos. And Stephanie Bowles said they need organs. And people have spoken about organs. Like, are they really actively kidnapping black people? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because we know there's so many missing black people right now, right? Like,
man, and I'll tell you this. The day they find a way to successfully transplant a woman's uterus into a transgender, watch the black women, because they might be coming for them, man.
Now, okay. So my wife is saying Kamar and Courtney have an echo. She said she messaged me and said y'all got an echo. I don't know. I can play with it. We'll see.
It's been an echo the whole show.
Was it? Oh, I wish I had known that. I had known that. Y'all should have.
Yeah, I heard the echo. I didn't really hear mine. Yeah.
All right, let me know if it's still there. Let me know if it's still there. If y'all hear echo. All right. Huh? Yeah. It's gone.
Yeah.
Hola.
It's gone.
Look at this. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Donate to the cash app so Kev keep fixing shit.
Right. Well, right. That's one way to get it done, right? That's one way to get it done. I'm working on this motherfucker around the clock, right? I'll be down here with a wrench. Let's see. Let me catch up with my chat room. Jesse Perry said, right, Kamar is just more distractions. Jesse Perry said, organ harvesting is real. You know what? It's something I want to know about. I want to know. It's like, let's talk about that. I mean, somebody enlighten me on this because
have you ever seen Hidden Colors too? The Power of Melanin.
I have never really, I've never really watched it. Never really.
Man, you gotta watch them, Kev.
Well, they touched on his boy. Matter of fact, I think it was just a documentary about the boy. He was found wrapped up in his gym like school mats, and then when they did an autopsy, he was and then they did an autopsy. I think they said like his organs was gone or some shit like that. But yeah, that organ harvesting is real as fuck, man. I mean, you gotta think about it. When you in a certain tax bracket, there ain't nothing you can't get. So, you know what I'm saying? You got the money to pay to find out who matching with your kidney. And then all that take is a freak car accident or some crazy shit. And now your organs is going to the highest bidder. It happens all the time. I mean, even in India, there's whole families that sell a fucking kidney just to eat. Like whole families. Everybody done sold a kidney type shit in these third world countries.
Wow.
Kev, you know, all these movies that show these different things, it should be real. You know, there's plenty of movies where it's going to show you an old ass white man and he's staying alive because he keep getting different transplants. I forgot what motherfucking movie that was.
Drinking that adrenochrome shit.
I've seen movies when other countries, you know, kidnapping Americans and cutting out their organs and got them sitting on ice. Kidnapping people. It's just movies about all these different things. You know this shit got to be happening. We know it's happening. And the way that people go missing, they never find anybody. No bodies, no nothing. They definitely take people and they take
64,000 black women. 60. That's wild as hell, man. And like I said, they figure out how to successfully transplant a woman's uterus into something else. There's gonna be even more black women possibly coming up missing.
Yeah.
Oh, Kev, just like that movie Hostel. You know, it was all those rich people flying over to Russia or flying over somewhere just so they could
somewhere in Eastern Europe
kill people,
right.
Torture them any which way they want. And I'm more than positive rich people are doing that. I'm more than positive they somewhere killing people just for fun, hunting people, all that different shit we see.
Yeah, that Bohemian Grove shit. You know, they got islands. They got islands they could whisk motherfuckers away to.
Jeffrey Epstein. That right there. We just seen videos of him torturing chicks, all types of shit. So
and I'm not laughing at y'all. I'm just saying these kinds of theories is what we always look at. I look at people and be like, that motherfucker crazy. Right. But
like, just research it, man. I can send you some videos.
Nah. I'm saying I've become more accepting of a lot of this stuff over the last few years because when I've looked back at history, looked back at Henrietta Lacks, I believe that's her name, where they took the gene from. And we know that they've always been experimenting on black people. The good thing about being back in the studio is I have my books. I'm back on my books again. And so Medical Apartheid right here this is a book that was given to us by one of our guests a couple years ago.
Right.
She brought me this book. It's Medical Apartheid by Harriet A. Washington. The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. So if y'all can find this book, grab it. I started to read it, and it's much deeper than just the Tuskegee experiments. Kamar, you remember we had the sisters from Madison?
I remember that. I remember that's when she brought that bill down here.
Yes,
and put all the aldermen and alderwomen on blast.
Yes. Because it was about, but that was about vaccines. That was about vaccinations.
And that was right before the pandemic too.
Yes,
the pandemic hadn't even hit yet. It was about a month before the pandemic, or 2 months before the pandemic, or something.
Wow, man, you just connected some dots, man. That all came together like butt cheeks for me, because it did happen right before the pandemic, and then what was one of the major arguments about to vaccinate or not, and what rights do you have to choose? And that was about her argument was parents not being able to choose whether or not children should be able to get vaccines. So yeah, and I can't remember the sister's name because she changed her Facebook name. Kimberly, was it Gwen? Yeah. Kimberly King. That was her name. Kimberly King. Yes, that was her name. So shout out to her. Yes.
That's wild that she was talking about that before the pandemic.
Because you know we was just talking about the pharmaceuticals and how the system, how the government has been doing black people over the course of the years since they came in contact with us. You know what I mean? The tests they run and bullshit experiments.
You know what's crazy though? I mean, because I was always into that shit, and it ain't just black folk. Like if you look up, there's a gonorrhea experiment that was done in South America to where there's a lot of women now sterile, where they were going, it was under the guise of medical care again. They was giving these women gonorrhea to the point where like they sterile and shit. And I think this was just the 60s. So they always doing this shit. So I've always been I ain't gonna say
it might be in that book.
I'm sure it might be.
Yeah, it might be in that
because
book.
They've always done it. And it brings up the question of autonomy over your own body. You should be able to say what goes in and comes out of your own body.
Yeah, it's yours.
Now we getting back to pro-choice, pro-life again.
Exactly.
Exactly. We was on fire though. Look, I got another book. This was the one. This was Marsha Thaddeson, sister, elderly, one of our elders from Georgia, Marsha L. Thaddeson. She's from Milwaukee, but she's been in Georgia for a while. Healing in the Kitchen, and in this book, she talks about some of the original ways that our diet, on how we dealt with sickness and disease back in the days. She was on the show too. I'm just sitting here in my studio looking at all the stuff because I still had all these books and all these kinds of stuff that we had. Pregnancy and fluoride did not mix. This is another one that Kimberly King brought down for us. We was feeding the masses, man, during that time, man.
Man, that's some dope ass literature right there, man.
Yeah, we was hitting a lot of topics.
Some dope ass literature.
Yeah, that's why all of a sudden our numbers fell too. Facebook was like, enough of that bullshit, right?
Probably they will they will shadow ban you. The cat Isaac Hayes' son, Isaac Hayes the third. That's why he made that app fan base, because he was just showing how Instagram, even like when you get too big, they can't have you competing with them because they get paid to advertise people's shit on Instagram. So if you got 18 million followers, what's stopping a company hollering at you directly and saying, "Hey, hold my shit up during your live and I'll hit your hand"? So they can't afford to have that kind of competition. So he was saying how even Instagram will cap you at a certain amount of followers, because he was saying like 18 million people watch Monday Night Football. So a 30-second spot is like 300 G's. So he was saying if a motherfucker got 18 million followers, they could run it up. So a lot of social media do cap you, man, because they got to make their money off of making you pay to get your shit advertised.
And I'm not real paranoid either. I just know at one point, Kamar and I encountered an issue where the privacy on the show was screwed up. Remember, Kamar, where all of a sudden people were like, I can't tune into the show. Like I would be trying to share the show and people were saying, Kev, I can't, what happened? Like, so it was, and I would go in and I had to manually edit the privacy multiple times during the show. So, and it was on the heels of us really touching on a lot of crucial topics that was going on in the community. Not to say I'm some kind of, master revolutionary and nothing. And sometimes coincidence is just coincidence, but I just know coincidentally we went from about 1,000 views per show to about 50. And it wasn't long either. It was like a week. And I was like, damn, what happened? I was over here crying in my drink, right? But yeah. So, but I don't worry about that. I've learned since then that we do this for a cause, not an applause.
And then the 50 that's down with you hard. So,
oh yeah,
50 down ass people is better than 1,000 iffy motherfuckers,
Listen, I can't say enough about the people who support what we do now, because they rock with us hard. I can't
they dope as hell.
And it's sisters. I do a sports show, and I didn't expect it'd be sisters who listen to every show coming in. Like they don't listen to sports, but they just supporting what we do. So yeah, man, I rock everybody, and that's why now I got my studio back up and running. I'm about to get on this apparel, and I got my first round. It's just gonna be some thank yous. Of course, I got to take care of my people. I got to take care of y'all and get y'all right. But then I got to get out to supporters who rock with us, get them T-shirts, get them hoodies, get them hats, whatever. And me and Kamar been working on this off and on over the years and starting and stopping, but got to make it happen. I'm getting this little spinal thing I had going straight. As you can tell, I'm back in my studio, so that means I can move a little bit better. Kamar's always on my ass about getting out in the community. So you'll see us one day at a booth somewhere, and then with a bunch of outlaw shit, a bunch of outlaw radio, People's Network stuff. and interacting with the community. So we got to get to
See us at a booth everywhere.
You know what I'm saying?
There we go. There we go, man. That's what I aim to do. Since so many people have found it, want to take it upon themselves to try to limit what we do, I'm just gonna take it out of their hands, right? We'll let the people decide. But now we gotta talk about the fools, right? Because we talked about the babies, and God bless the babies. Kevin love the kids. I do. I've always worked with young people. I love children. Babies are innocent, Ain't nothing like a little. I had so much fun being a dad when my kids was little. Like it wasn't you see me running around in the yard with my kids, and people come to me all the time, like, I remember I used to see you. Yes, you sure did. I enjoyed every aspect of being a father. I did the tea parties with my daughter, right? Like I did everything. It's a picture of me around this house with, I don't know what my daughter thought it was a hat. She said it's a hat. It was like a piece of plastic. I'm just sitting there with my big ass at a table, drinking fake tea, man, because I loved being a father. And that's why I tell brothers, like, yeah, it gets challenging. It does get tough. Being a parent is tough, especially a young parent. You don't have all the money in the world, and you like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna raise this kid. But part of it is being resourceful and really coming up with a way and accepting something bigger than you, right? Like I knew the first time I held my daughter that it was something bigger than me. And I was a selfish, come on, man. I was, like I said, I was a youngster. I prided myself on being an asshole. I didn't care. But when I held my daughter, I knew, like, dude, I'm responsible for this right here. This is me. She didn't ask to come into this world. I will sacrifice whatever I have to make sure she's straight.
Right.
So I hope y'all do the same. But I want to talk about these fools. What y'all think about Dave Chappelle?
That shit was hilarious. Like I don't even condone jumping. I always felt jumping was hoe ass nigga shit. But under certain circumstances, dude hopped on stage with the intent to cause bodily harm to Dave Chappelle, and they returned that energy tenfold. And
yeah, they was all supposed to whoop his ass.
Exactly. Yeah. That's one of the situations where it's like, hey, stump that motherfucker out. And then when he get out and people recognize him, go ahead and do it again just for good measures.
Right.
So, what about the fact that he may have been mentally ill?
He was able to get into a motherfucking comedy show and get up to the stage.
Shit.
They said it's metal detectors and that shit. How you have a knife and a fake gun?
He wasn't that mentally. He couldn't have been that mentally ill. You know
a mental genius.
It's you got to go through protocol to go to a Dave Chappelle show. You know what I mean? You got to go through protocol. You know what I mean? You might have to take a COVID test. You might have to get tested. You got to turn your phone in and shit. You got to go through metal detectors and shit, man. Then you got to buy this high ass ticket. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't too much wrong with this motherfucker.
But you know,
other than him being a trans supporter or some shit like that, you know what I mean? I believe he was just upset. You know what I mean? At some of the dope jokes Dave Chappelle throw out there, and we seen it from the Capitol, man. And white folks don't know how to handle themselves, don't know how to deal with that shit.
He was black.
He looked black or Mexican or some shit, like with black fingernails.
He had black fingernails.
Nail polish.
You see what I'm saying? This ain't no black man here we talking about. Mentally, he's not a black man. You dig what I'm saying? It could be a mental issue going on here too.
He was a black male. People gotta get that right.
He got mental issues now. He got stumped the fuck out. He got stumped out by Busta Rhymes. Big ass Busta Rhymes.
Black fingernail.
Man, I think I be thinking some of this.
My thing is this, man. Universal. My thing is universal law. Universal law. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You do wrong by a man, whatever happens to you happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Courtney, what was you about to say?
I be thinking some of this should be staged, like Kamar said, it's all this shit and metal detectors, and you got him with a knife and a gun, and you somehow made it to the front, got on stage.
And then also somebody was able to get their phone in to record the shit. Like they make you turn your phone in.
Chris Rock walk out right after and bring up Will Smith. Where the fuck that nigga come from? What the fuck? There's too much going on. That nigga just come out from the back. Hey, was that Will Smith? This was planned.
Well, it was Netflix. Netflix is a joke, right? That was their festival. That's what it was.
Right,
So
right.
Chris Rock had performed, and now Jamie Foxx came out and said that I thought his statement was very telling. That he said Dave Chappelle is an absolute genius, and he said
Right.
that under no circumstances will let anything happen to you. So you damn right. If I see something going down, I'm in. And they put the foo-fops on this dude, right? Like is this what should have happened to Will Smith? I mean, where was Busta Rhymes and Jamie Foxx? Because it seemed like initially with Will Smith, people were like Denzel walked up to him and was consoling him and all of this kind of shit. It seemed like, and even Chris Rock was kind of looking after that when they was giving him his trophy, like, oh really? This what happened? Motherfuckers get trophies after slapping the shit out of us, right? So, but it was different for this dude because he wasn't a celebrity, right? Like so. What if this is I don't know. Well, who's another black actor? Damn, I'm so out the loop. I want to say Blair Underwood, but I don't think nobody would give a fuck. They probably send Blair Underwood out too. But what if this is one of Michael B. Jordan, right? What if this is Michael B. Jordan who runs out on the stage and tackles Dave Chappelle?
Whoop that nigga ass.
Would they
give a fuck.
ass, right? I don't. So is it if
Whoop
you ain't a
that nigga
celebrity,
ass.
ass whoop, right? Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe the Will Smith shit really didn't happen.
You've been saying that.
All this shit tricky, man.
Staged.
Aaron Brown said, I think it's stage 2. And shout out to and I wanted to ask Chastity Washington when we had her on the show last week, who is a very funny sister who's a comedian from Milwaukee, because I wanted to get her take on it, and I didn't get a chance to because that conversation flows so well. That sister was funny. We showed some of her stand-up stuff. Y'all go back and check that show out. I'm trying to get her to come back.
Hey, Kev, remember a while back, man, when that shit happened, though, I made a point, and I said, I think Chris Rock it was a joke, right? Like, because comedians can't say the shit they want to say. They can't crack the jokes they want to crack normally. You know what I mean? Because of the whole boycott, kick a motherfucker out type shit, the movement thing, right?
The cancel
and
culture.
I can see that even with this carrying over, even with the Dave Chappelle situation, because you know what I mean, there's a motherfucker that support the trans community, and Dave Chappelle clearly kick a lot of them type of jokes and shit. You know what I mean? So now it's like, hold on, man, we should be able to say what we want to say. We feeling threatened now. You know what I mean? It's a threat. Right. You know what I mean? Come on now. This shit ain't cool, man. I mean, I think it's a way for the comedians to push back.
Shout out to my boy Wayne Richards. He said, too late. Fuck that mental shit. Well, he didn't say, he said, I'm paraphrasing. He said mental-ish. I said it. He said, fuck that mental shit. Right? Like, you mental now because you got. Did y'all see him on the stretcher? What's his arm?
I seen that arm.
Like, he was, but he wasn't crying or nothing. He was lumped up. I think it was.
They fucked him up. I heard they did some MMA on him. That's what I'm talking about.
They fucked him up, man.
And Dave Chappelle got a little swole. Chappelle got a little swole over the years. So there was
Chappelle big as hell.
Yeah. So, but you know, I said now, you know, Kamar has stood on the fact that he felt like the whole thing was staged with Will Smith. He has said that, and Aaron Brown is in the chat room. He said he thinks it's staged too. But I said that once Will Smith did that, he crossed the line, and the losers would be free speech, because I felt like now it's because what happened after that? T.I. goes up on the stage, snatches a microphone from a sister, and now I guess they cool now. I think T.I. made a sliver some money. But now it's open season on comedians, and I don't know what it's gonna take, because I know some comedians who are really, you know, like, look, I don't play that shit. It's gonna be up there with a pistol, and somebody will run up.
They should and pop a motherfucker.
T.I. is disrespectful. He disrespectful to women. That's just what he is. Yeah.
Is he disrespectful to women? I mean,
I know a lot of people. You know, a lot of Milwaukee people were staying with like T.I. and Tiny. I don't know how all these Milwaukee niggas was getting linked up with Tiny, but it was a lot of people staying at her house. So. And I knew a lot of these people over around 2020, 2021.
They was fucking people together.
A lot of stories, man. A lot of stories about his son King not liking him because he be beating on Tiny, and you know, he be cheating. And then even Tiny friend came out with some videos a couple months ago about how the nigga was mistreating her and talked to her and just talked down on women. It's always some shit. Even the way he treated that chick on stage. You know what I'm saying? You was joking while she was doing her set. She got to joking with you. You go up there, you aggressive, you ready to snatch shit out her hand. He damn near wanted to put his hands on her. Like, yeah.
I didn't know that there was a Milwaukee connect. The only person that I knew, we knew that the sister, shit, she changed her name. She just got a Yasin Hallelujah. I know I'm fucking her name up. Um, um, she was a rapper.
Or something.
Yeah, she got the Iverson. She got an award for recognition from Iverson. She's been on the show as well because she brought Chairman Fred Hampton Jr.'s son on. She brought him on, but she talked about her connection with T.I., and she didn't say anything like that T.I. had been kind of egregious in his treatment of her. I do think T.I.
Well, how long was she with them though? Because these niggas from Milwaukee that was living in their house, and yeah, they was living there. They was there for months. So
that's crazy.
yeah.
I like to hear some of them stories because it's a lot. It's a lot that from what I understand, Atlanta's a pretty weird place. Like it's a Black Hollywood type of weirdo environment in which a lot of freaky deaky hallelujah goes on. I've never been to Atlanta. From what I see, I've never
sex club there. I ain't been yet, but I'm gonna go. I ain't gonna have sex. I just want to watch. You can just view. But look, it got a dance floor. It got a, what they say, it got a buffet, and then it got a locker room. Bring your own bottle, but then you go.
I don't want to go to a club like that with a buffet.
Right, I'm gonna say I don't know you want to.
It's separated. I think it's like you do the regular shit first. Go eat, go dance. You kicking it, then it's like, all right, we finna go change and go through them double doors.
Pubic hairs floating in the air and shit.
What
like, I just want to go through double doors and get a booth and just be watching with my bottle. Like, wow.
Is this like Baby Boy, where it's a brother standing by the bacon with his, just bucket? What's up, man? You want? Nah, I'm good. I'm too old for that foolishness, man. I'm too old.
Y'all old. I forgot. Sorry.
More and more of those clubs popping up now. Those people, as Black people, like white people been on shit
Swingers
for a minute.
Clubs.
Like I grew up watching Real Sex with my young ass, 9 years old, watching Real Sex. So I've seen white people doing this shit for 30 years. But now as Black people get more and more, cause with a lot of Black folk, everything is gay or everything is or everything is that's nasty. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, it takes rappers making shit cool for us before we do it. People denied eating pussy until Lil Wayne. People denied beating their dick until Juvenile.
Well, that depends on how old you are. That depends on how old you are, because I got some partners who from the 80s been talking about, man. I mean, and I'm just maybe because I just hung around the nastiest motherfuckers in Milwaukee, but I've always had partners who like, what you talking about, bro? Like people are as far as I could. People always been nasty. Like there's always been nasty. Growing up, like I just talked about, homeboys who I had some partners who in the 90s said, nah, I don't wear no condom. I don't do that, kid, because then I can't feel nothing. And I'm like, boy, you gonna feel some bumps, you gonna feel some burns. Like people have been nasty. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying though, Real, in terms of there's always a lot of denial and a lot of taboo, making things taboo. But I'm telling you right now, it's the whole butt naked wow sex club, everybody in there going for right. I'm not,
popping.
I'm cool on that. Now you talked about earlier this how we gonna put female uterus or whatever into transgender males, right? And this is why I keep
I hope they don't figure out how to do that shit, man.
Well, be careful about what you cheerleading for. Because if you don't believe that there's an agenda behind what's happening, a lot of us just think, oh, it's just, oh man, they just showing that because we're a freer society. Or I got news to y'all. In Europe, they've always had a different kind of attitude about sex for years. That as far as nudity goes and like what's on television, they've always had that kind of thing going, right? In America, it was always controlled. There was always censorship. There was always prudish people, and there was Kamar talked about religion, but at one point the Bible thumpers kind of ran this country. So right now, don't think that it's not a reason that there's this whole push hard agenda towards transgenderism and homosexuality. There has to be something behind it. If it ain't no money in it, the government ain't getting involved, right? If there's no benefits that can be had by the government, they're not gonna take this on. So go ahead, Real.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just gonna say, there's a difference between sexuality and deviancy. You know, a lot of these motherfuckers deviant. You know what I'm saying? I'm a highly sexual person. I will never, do anything without somebody's consent or some shit like that. But I think there's a difference between deviancy and sexuality, and then with that whole this is just me. This is just me. Like, this ain't the views of the program and none of that shit like that. But me personally, I always wonder, like, when this whole agenda was, people get mad when we say agenda, but just like you said, the government ain't getting involved if it ain't no money. I mean, think about how many politicians and senators and shit was caught with boys or with fishnets in they briefcase. So it may not be no money. They might just literally be caught by the balls where they gotta push shit for they little boy toy. Otherwise, they boy toy gonna expose them. You know what I'm saying? So it might be some coercion and blackmail that pushed a lot of this shit on.
That's why I say people always been nasty. Like, people have always had people in closet freaks. Look, I talk about Gay Edgar Hoover all the time. I talk about the OG,
right,
the original cross-dresser, right? Like, this dude
right.
allowed organized crime to exist, but he was against the Black Panthers. He sabotaged Marcus Garvey, but he allowed Al Capone and Murder Inc. and of the crime fam, the Colombo crime. He let all of this bubble, but he went after Black nationalists, right? And
but didn't Hoover say the biggest threat to America was the unification of Black folk?
He absolutely positively did. Okay, but he
never
went after organized crime, right? And then at the time they were murdering people by the boatloads, right? Like, so once again, there's an agenda here, right? There's an agenda, and I'm not against transgender people, and I'm not against gay people, but I think that the attention to their agenda is too great for me, and it's not accidental. Like, when I'm watching any television show, and especially with Black people, there has to be some gay character there, right? And gay people just wasn't invented. We all got a gay cousin, right? It was always, you went to school with a dude who you said, dude, sweet, right? Like, you just knew whatever it was, right? But now, like, I watch these shows. I watch All American and I watch All American Homecoming, which is set at a Black college. And they got a character on there who's a young brother with a whole goatee, but he has he has a wig on, and he dresses just like a woman. He acts just like a woman, but he got a full goatee and a beard, and he's a youngster. And I'm like, why did they throw him in there? Why? Because you say, well, there's gay people, Kevin. I get it. Maybe it's because it's Atlanta, and that's what that's one of the things where I said I don't know that I want to ever go to Atlanta, because everybody who's gone has come back and told me, like, Kev, you ain't seen gay until you see Atlanta gay. Like,
but it's crazy. Living there, I feel like it's about the same amount of gay. The type of gay I saw there was the same type of gay I saw working in these warehouses. Dudes with full beards with a purple
or
wig
Walmart. I used to go to Walmart, man, and it was niggas with, and you know me, live how you live. Just be so secure in how you live that somebody saying some shit about it don't put you in the outrage. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the thing. Like, dude ran on stage because he was sensitive about motherfuckers saying what they were saying about his lifestyle. I've been fat all my life, man. I had to learn how to either accept that shit or change that shit. I'm not about to, they calling me fat. Yeah, nigga, I'm fat now. Pull your bitch. That's how that shit go. Like, that's just how, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, but a lot of people live in this lifestyle that evidently they must feel is wrong, because they're hypersensitive. That used to be like, I used to work at a grocery store, Jewel's, before it left. I used to work at Jewel's at Midtown. And in the summertime, you will see a girl, damn, I'm showing my age, but like, you remember biker shorts and shit?
Oh, yeah.
You will see a 300-pound woman come in with biker shorts and a halter top, and the first thing she said, I dare one of these bitches say something to me. It's like, hey, baby, if you already got that mindset because you dress like that, you need to evaluate your shit. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, don't live a lifestyle that evidently you're not secure enough in to not be hypersensitive to where you already looking for who got something to say. I don't give a fuck about who, like y'all say. Yeah, I'm known to be hypersexual. I love women. It ain't nothing beautifuler than black women. Shit, it ain't that's dynamic art. I will, if I could see black women all day, every day while I smoke, shit, I would. But I don't feel hypersensitive about people saying, yeah, weed and women, two of God's greatest gifts, man. You know?
Okay, so and look, we talked about this last week when I asked fellas about Lizzo, because I felt like Lizzo has proved a point. Like Lizzo kept pushing her line until now. There's a lot of brothers saying, "Hold on, man, I like that. That ain't." And Terrell's point about whatever you look like, big, skinny, short, cockeyed, bow leg, buck tooth, whatever it is,
right?
there is somebody who likes you. You just have to find those individuals. We run into problems when we start trying to force a square into a circle, right? Like,
Right.
because if you meet a woman and she say, "Well, you just too big for me," then it is what it is. She can't say,
Right.
"Well, if you lost weight, then I would be with you." No, 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 no. Because if you don't like fat me, you don't like skinny me, right? It is what it is. I'd rather deal with a woman who would say, "I like you just the way you are, baby. If you lost weight for your health, that's fine with me. But if you don't, I'm good." See, we got to figure out where, like, I think there was the E40 song way back in the day when he said, "You ungrateful motherfucker, you better get somewhere where they love you at," right? Like, that's
Exactly.
about, right?
And
So,
that's what people enjoy, putting focus on their haters instead of putting focus on their lovers, man. Like I don't, man, look, shit, I'm 5'6". I'm probably kissing 300 pounds again. I ain't worried about who ain't fucking with me because I'm so busy enjoying and appreciating the people that do fuck with me.
and that's what it's about. And that's what it's about. It's self-love. It's basically, it's something we
Right.
talk about
It's a
on this show all
superpower.
the time. Right, right.
Yeah.
It's something we talk about all the time. Self-love, right? Like, and if you with it, a shout out to Liz Brown. Kamar, you remember Liz was on the show. Liz used to say, "Everything ain't for everybody," right? Or she say, "I ain't for everybody." Like when people would be like, "Man, Liz, as a woman, you just too hard." She was like, "Well, shit, I ain't for everybody." Or I can't remember how she used to put it, but she used to be like, "Yeah, everything ain't for everybody." So, just getting to the point of where you can be appreciated. Now, that's not to say if you have bad habits that might be counterproductive or unhealthy,
Right.
it's okay. Like, because I know,
Right.
my wife would be like, "Look, you's a big dude. When I married you, I ain't expecting you to get Ethiopian." I don't know if is that politically correct to say, but I know
I
she would
don't
say,
know.
"But if your blood pressure starts to become a problem, if
Right.
diabetes starts to become a problem, baby, I need for you to handle that business because I want you around."
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. But just to say aesthetically, you just too fat. Like, because I want you to be able to walk with your stomach out and have a six pack. Well, baby, that ain't what you got. So go get that.
Hey,
I would
I tell
encourage
motherfuckers a 6-pack could get you buzzed, but my kid gets the party started. That's how that shit go.
Yeah, that's
oh
right.
man, you got to give Real a spinoff. Give you a spinoff.
For sure. For
So
sure.
the next biggest news is what's happening in Oklahoma. Y'all give me a second. I told you I got these cooties.
Don't do it right into the microphone.
It's that time of year, man. That's that all that
Yeah.
pollen and shit
Feel
coming
like
up
you
out
need
the
some
ground.
Theraflu or something. Like your eyes getting heavy. What you doing?
Yeah,
Trying to shut it down?
I'm over here.
What you-
I'm over here. No, this ain't me off edibles. When I was off the edibles that time, and Kamar was laughing at my ass because I had to shut the whole goddamn show down on damn edibles here. That wasn't no cold. That was just me being geeked.
Man.
But no, I see that they're moving forward in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with reparations for the victims of Black Wall Street.
Yeah, I seen that.
They
Bullshit, Kev.
they said the stories of the
No,
people.
they talking about
It's
So what
only
y'all
3
think about that?
victims left.
Well, there's descendants. They have family
Oh, so
members.
they letting the descendants do it?
Well, typically, if you are legally owed something, your descendants will be the recipient of it.
All
So
right.
so whoever the family members, if they can prove that this was my great great grandfather or whatever, they will be the benefactors or whatever settlements are given. But once again, and I think it's a great thing. But if we're gonna do that, then we got to give everybody reparations, right? It has to come. And for all these people who for years have told me that it wouldn't happen, I've said we should stop asking and start demanding, right? And this is a open and shut case in Tulsa. Like what happened was you don't want us with you. We left you, and then you still came and burnt our shit down because we were doing better than you. And I feel like reparations in this country should be an absolute given, right? It shouldn't, because it's a lot more. There's a lot more massacres that have happened over the years in which black people should be compensated for. Um, but I've got people got mad at me on the show when I said if you Jamaican, you shouldn't get American reparations. If you're Haitian, you shouldn't get him. You should only get him if your family came from the South and you were a direct descendant of the Jim Crow antebellum slavery South. And people got mad
Very
at me.
true.
Well,
Hey,
that's what I said.
hey,
Well, I mean, if you
yeah.
can't trace your people back to the South, in which y'all had Mr. Charlie Foot in y'all ass, I don't see, like, you can't just come over here and pop up like, hey man, where's my reparations? Nah, bro, you was on the island eating coconuts while we was over here in hot ass Mississippi in the goddamn cotton field.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So now don't get me wrong. If you were an immigrant who came over during that time and you were affected by the systematic nature of it, I believe you should be compensated. But um, I believe this should be something for Black Americans, because I'm one of those people who always says the black race is the only race that's truly created by the United States of America, because you stripped us of our history. We don't know what our origin actually is, and that's why you see so many black people running around sending they DNA into ancestry.com and DNA and all, which I wouldn't do if we talking about, you got some black people who was
Organ harvesting.
yeah, we
Right.
about that, but I'm finna find out who my ancestors was.
Right.
Damn,
Right.
you part Irish? Yeah, motherfucker. I can see it in your eyes, right? So um,
Right.
I'm just saying, like, I think that's good, but I think it's a step closer. And some people said we might not get to see this in our lifetime. Especially us old heads like myself, they saying, well, you probably won't get to see it, but it's coming. I don't think we should. Why do we continuously put shit off? Why are we saying we won't get it? Like, why are we saying we won't see it? Instead of us telling every time they come to us, asking for votes, I just feel like it's something we should demand. It's just like Roe versus Wade with the Supreme Court overturning it. If we are against that as people, guess who votes for the judges? Guess how they get into place, right? Like I feel like we got more power than we give ourselves credit for. So the conversation with reparations centers around this. Every time a black politician or a white politician comes up to me and says, "Hey, I want you to vote for me in this election," and I say to him or her, "What you think about reparations?" Unless they say, "Oh yeah, we're going to do that. Definitely. It's one of my items. It's one of the things I'm going to put into place." If they don't do that, it's very simple. Say, "Thank you. Have a nice day." Right? You don't get my vote. It's very simple, but we won't do that. Like I felt like in the last mayoral election, we allowed the candidates to kind of skirt the issues of reckless driving and homicide. And since now we have this all black administration, I think the Milwaukee Seven, I think that's what they call it. We got a black man at the head of all these executive positions. Is the violence gone down? Has the reckless driving stopped? Is poverty gone down? No, it hasn't. You know why? Because we as voters didn't demand for them to come up with solutions or they wouldn't get our votes. We still allowed them to come in with the same old shit, the same broad statement, blanket statement, speeches, and get in office. And now it's what we towing more cars. We're towing cars that were used in that don't have registration, that were used in reckless driving. It sounds like to me somebody's, because we know we got cameras at every intersection. It sounds like to me somebody gonna get a ticket in the mail for smashing through an intersection doing maybe 45, and then they'll give them a ticket and then they'll use that as an excuse to come and tow their car. Meanwhile, you got some stolies, some stolen cars flying through intersections, knocking people silly. So once again, I think we just have to get to where we dictate to the politicians what they should do as opposed to them telling us what they're gonna do. Tiarsha Arthur agreed with me. She said the Jamaicans and Africans tell you real quick that they are not black, so no, they shouldn't get any of the reparations. And you know what? Some people might look at this and say, y'all arguing for y'all even get the shit. Right? Like, because we got to figure out who's going to get what and how it's going to come, right? Like, so we already on that bullshit, right? Like arguing about, oh, no, your ass ain't black, because we do that to each other now. You ain't black. We taking people black cards. We taking people hood, what they call them? Hood cards, and taking their invitations from the cookout. This cookout going to be one hell of a cookout, man, because we've been planning this motherfucker for 70 years.
That motherfucker going to be empty.
Everybody gonna be sick or in jail, right? Like, motherfucker gonna have COVID or be locked up for reckless driving and shit. Wayne Richards said our votes are not free. You know what's not free? Freedom ain't free, right? Like, freedom is not free. And like, people think freedom is a given. And freedom is not a given, right? In this country, we know that there's limitations on everything. I don't know where I was the other day. I was speaking with a group of people, and somebody said, when are people going to just accept the fact that America is really not a free country? And that they tell you got freedom of speech, but if you say the wrong thing, they cancel you. They tell you can start a business and it's free enterprise, but if you start a business that they don't like, they'll shut you down, right? Because free enterprise and democracy means free enterprise and democracy, right? Like, so when I was talking about the Delta 8, I guess this is a different variant. Real, you are a resident weedologist, I guess. So do you tell us about this Delta 8 variant of marijuana? Like, because they say it gets you high, but it's not is it not as potent? What's the difference?
So, okay, shit. Okay. So Delta 8, the reason it's legal is because it's supposed to be hemp derived. And under the I forgot what act it is, because I was in that hemp processors pilot program. But under that federal act, it considered anything from hemp not illegal. It considered illegal. So now people are upset because it took CBD to another level, because there's people who want to enjoy CBD for the health benefits, but then there's some people who say, I can't smoke CBD because it don't give me no feeling. Like some people want to feel high. So Delta 8 is okay. It's called Delta 8 THC because the THC in regular weed is Delta 9, and all that number is the molecule that shit attach itself to. So there's Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, Delta 11. So as they make one shit illegal, motherfucker, like right now, I got some gummies that's Delta 8. I got some. Here, let me pull my shit up. Let me see. Okay, so these is Delta 8. This Durban Poison, Delta 8. This some hemp flower, 3,5. So what they do is they take some CBD or hemp flower, which doesn't have, in order to be considered legal, it can't have any more than 0.3% of Delta 9 THC. But it can have as much Delta 8 THC on the motherfucker as you can put on it, because that's considered legal. So what people do is they process the hemp down into an oil that is Delta 8, and then they like spray it or whatever on this flower, which Delta 8 is psychoactive, but it's only 75% as psychoactive as regular weed. So like I said, the people who fuck with me, they more so older cats who like Reggie. They don't like loud, and that's who it's for. For me personally, I make cigars, because the reason I became a hemp processor was because my goal was to get people off of alcohol and tobacco. So I make CBD cigars with palm leaves or hemp. So because that was my goal, to get people off of tobacco. I used to infuse honey with CBD for people who drink tea, because that was my way of kind of weaning people off of liquor. You want to feel relaxed and have a little nightcap, go ahead and make you some dope ass tea and put some infused honey in it. So what happens is a lot of the tobacco people don't like hemp because motherfuckers getting paid without having to jump through all the hoops that the tobacco, firearm, and alcohol motherfuckers had to hop through. So a lot of this shit be, they talk about the tavern leagues and all that stuff that be lobbying again, because that's all it is, man. Legality is strictly dictated by the motherfuckers who got the money to pay people to lobby. It ain't never about morals. It ain't never about none of that shit. CBD was fucking up somebody else's money, but they had enough money to sick their lobbyists on shit to now it being reviewed. Like there's dispensaries getting their doors kicked in because of Delta 8.
Right, and that's what I was saying, that they've come out and said that the feds are going to jump down on cats who got the Delta 8 more now, because, and it's being openly sold. Like a lot of these hemp places, these cannabis stores are being sold now. And I keep saying, just go ahead and decriminalize it, right? Like just decriminalize it. And so, but now you just made an important point in that the cigarette lobbyists, the tobacco lobbyists, the alcohol lobbyists who contribute a lot of money to our elected officials are saying, really? You gonna vote on that shit? Well, I'm just gonna take my $100,000 from your campaign. I'm just gonna take, my $50,000 contribution from your campaign. That's why I said earlier in the show, our government has no moral compass. They don't do anything because they care about you. They're not doing anything because, well, we want drugs to be legal because we don't want people to have drug problems. No, they're illegal because they got to figure out a way to tax that shit, right? Like, and I know Malcolm X had that famous speech years ago when he talked about the seal that's on a pack of cigarettes, the seal that's on a bottle of alcohol that you had to break, and that was one of the most powerful. In order to open it up, you had to break the seal. That was one of the most powerful seals in this country because that is what they use to regulate things like gambling or like cigarettes. So the government has no real moral compass. Was my point.
They want to make money. I mean, running numbers was illegal, but we got the lottery. You know what I'm saying? So bootlegging was illegal until they start regulating. They don't like motherfuckers they the biggest gangsters in the world. You know what I'm saying? They basically tell you to get down to lay down type shit. But instead of them coming to your shit with guns and enforcers, they come to your shit with paperwork and and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Everything, man. Right.
So be careful if you out here, and I'm telling you, Rel, be careful. Watch out if because I think like I said, there's a lot of beneficial things that people can really reap the benefits of when it comes to cannabis and hemp and all of that. And I know some of y'all don't give a shit about that. You just want to get high, which is fine too. Because ain't nothing wrong with being high, regardless of what people tell you. If you want to get high and they keep you at the crib chilling and you ain't out sticking a gun in somebody's ribs, the problem that comes with getting high is when you start to break the law to do it. So when you want to get high so bad that you got to break in my shit or you got to steal something out of my car, and then, if I catch you, then, that's a whole different conversation. So
the problem is when you hurt other people to do it, because when you're breaking law, fuck laws. I mean, not fuck laws, but like we just established, legality is solely based on who's profiting and who's being exploited. That's legality in a nutshell. It's like back in the day, you go to Vegas and go to the bunny ranches, but these bitches on Lisbon was getting bust down. You know what I'm saying? So it's about, you got to pay the cost to be the boss, and if you ain't hitting the gangsterment with they cut, they shutting your shit down.
Right. Yeah. Y'all be careful, man. Y'all be careful with y'all hustles out there. And like, that's why I say, man, we need to invest in making this government work better for the people. We got a government that don't work for us, right? It don't work for us all. That's why I keep saying we update our phones more than we update the Constitution, right? You keep your Windows, you keep your browser updated more than you update the Bill of Rights, right? Like, in this country is becoming a majority minority country. So that means some adjustments are going to have to be made. And that's also why I made the point a couple weeks ago when we found out that Chris Abele gave Brother DC Crowley $700,000 for his campaign. And he's also giving Chevy Johnson $250,000. So we start talking about why things are done versus why they are not done. And you only have to look at who's really pulling the strings, right? And that's not
his personal money.
Yeah, he's rich. He's rich. Chris Abele is Bruce Wayne. He's rich. Yeah, he's got money.
Bruce Wayne.
Yes, he's rich.
Yeah, that's who Batman worked for.
He looked like he got the look too. because look kind of corny and shit. Hey, damn, look at that.
Yeah.
I remember Dirty, he was telling me that he was still in debt when he first got in office. He was like, man, I'm still in debt right now. That shit expensive. So yeah, he just digging himself into some more white folk debt, you know.
Yeah, but you know when you take their money, you gotta do what they say do, right? Like
Exactly.
That's
You're
why
bought. You're bought.
you hear black politicians all the time when they get elected say, I'm everybody's mayor. I'm everybody's governor. Because you bought and paid for by those people. So yeah, you everybody's. They say you for the streets.
Man, I would be a real nigga. They've been paid me. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do as soon as I get in there. You hear me sign what? Said, ooh, I don't think I like that bill too much. I don't know if I can sign. I mean, what the fuck you gonna do? I'm in now.
Well, that's when they come up with that tape where Real was talking about with them fishnets in your trunk. And
right.
You did that night you was off the Delta 8 and the Hennessy and
So
you
I was
didn't
say
know.
that went way back on my Facebook. Because even when I go back and assume the memories, I be like, damn, what the fuck was I on?
Right, you down in Atlanta.
Yeah,
we all got
they
some
come
kind
out
of
with
bullshit.
They gonna come out with
some kind of bullshit on Facebook they can pull up.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they do celebrities, go to get them old Twitter posts.
I mean, my thing is though, what leverage do we have? Like that's what we like people like, and that be where I take the discussion when we talk about reparations and shit. Like, yeah, we may be old to shit, but what they say, you don't get what you're worth, you get what you negotiate. Like, what leverage do we have? I mean, if we really wanted to go hard on reparations, like you always say about the solidarity, I mean, we don't have no leverage. Like we always ask for shit and say what we owed and what we deserve. Yeah, we do deserve that shit. But what leverage do we got? I mean, I guarantee
we all gotta start working.
Right. And that's what I'm about to say. I guarantee you, if it start hitting their pockets, where if the NFL, the NBA, and other black motherfuckers that make these people money say until we get reparations, we ain't playing, we ain't singing, we ain't dancing, we ain't acting. And then motherfuckers who make billions of dollars off of us start losing that money, they might say, hey, these couple billions we got to get them for reparations pale in comparison to what we losing by these niggas not shucking and jiving and soft shoeing for us.
You just
Cam, you and your wife off for the rest of the week. Don't even worry about it.
No, we can't do that. We got children to take care of. You know what, Lenny, you said stop working. I say stop spending. Right? Like, because I
feel
think
like we need to do both, really. But you know,
I think
they just be spending. They're going right to Walmart.
You gotta have.
I think they gotta work too. You know what I mean? Them brothers got families. Yeah, they well off right now, but you know what I mean. They can still keep getting that money. But if we quit giving them our money, you know what I mean? That's it right there. We was just talking about these different wars. Everything is economical.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If you want to be heard, you got to hit it like that.
Yeah.
We can't win no war with guns with them people. Not right now, especially.
Not at all.
Hell no. You ever been to one of them gun shows, Kev? I mean, I know you into weapons, but like when I'm in Georgia and I go to some gun shows and them white boys like, yeah, we just selling a little bit of our. This is just a little bit. All these AKs. And that's all.
This one give everybody fully automatic.
Right, and this is just a little bit of what.
If you want to know,
prepared for what they got.
If you want to know the scope of it, just look at what's being used in the Ukraine right now. Look at what the United States is giving, what they're giving to the Ukraine to assist them in their effort against Russia. And listen, once again, we know it's funny to me when a brother get a pistol and feel like he's ready to take on the world. Bro, you got one magazine. And if they stop selling you bullets, you're gonna be hard pressed to get them. Like you don't even know how to make your own bullets.
You don't know how to make bullets, none of that shit.
So yeah, that's not. And I understand we're very limited in that regard. But I think this is the way I feel. I feel like it's okay for us to earn. It's bad for us to be wasteful with our spending habits, and myself included. A lot of us are just not financially literate. I got a bunch of shit sitting around me right now that I shouldn't have spent all this money on.
Yes.
I just think about how much money is actually in the hood. Like there is money in the hood. People just ain't like, you see pictures of motherfuckers holding up 20, 30 bands, throwing 5 bands at the strip club. You know, you be like, damn, if they even made a front to where they got some kind of investment. If they got a bunch of niggas together, put a front together, got an investment corporation, put some white dude as the face, we could be making all kind of moves with money, you know. So it ain't that we don't have the financial capability to make changes. We don't have the knowledge or organization to do that shit.
Yeah, but how many of us are more willing to look good because we don't feel good? We rather look good than feel good, right? Like, so I'd
That
rather have
goes back into that
car.
mental, self-love and shit.
I'll go in debt. I'll go in debt to say I'm riding foreign. I'll go in debt to say I'm up in the club popping bottles. Like, I'll spend my last so I can feel good on a Friday night and go out and take pictures and shit. How many of them pictures you see where you? Because I done look back at some pictures of me in some bars like, boy, I wasted a lot of money that night. God damn, I remember that night. That the glass that I got, the drink in my hand was $9. Goddamn, whole half pint don't cost but $4. And so, but
Right.
it felt good for that night. And a lot of us, that's what we invest in. I mean, look at our fashion. Like right now, we go and pay $400 for some Jordans that was released 30 years ago. Right. And we'll pay $400 for them. And then be like, well, I don't wear
But you
that.
can sell them for $8 though. So
Right, to somebody else
Jordans.
who's as wasteful with their money as you are, right? Like, so
Hey, and then how many of us really doing that? You know,
that's true too.
Yeah, I know a couple people doing it, but not everybody.
Everybody
I was
say
saying
that.
the people I mess with.
we
That's
buying
what they
them
do,
shits
but
and wearing them joints.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Motherfucker gotta see us in them.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing about Jordans. You can wear them and still resell them. I know. See, that's so if you are that type of person, Jordan is an investment. I don't know how long, but them motherfuckers be expensive. You get your money even after wearing them.
I said Jordans, and I don't mean to pick on, because I know people are sneakerheads, right? Like, so if that's your thing, that's your thing. And if you responsibly purchase Jordans and you say, Kev, this is what I like, no doubt, go ahead and do it, because I'm not here to tell you how to spend the money you work for. Right. But I'm saying,
I got some new ones. Yeah, you want to see them?
I bet you know what? To be honest with you, I have a closet down here, not far from this studio, full of Jordans, because I used to wear them. I used to be real big on them. I got them all the way back from 1996, 97 when I was in college. And when I was in college, I had to have them. Like, man, no, dog, I gotta get. So a lot of the ones that are re-released now, my son will come into my closet and be like, Dad, let me rock these. I'm like, well, your foot ain't big enough yet, son. But also, them shoes is older than you, right? Like, so you see how stupid it is now for people to go and like in particular, one pair what I paid $135 for. I seen them re-released, it was $550. I'm like, really? That's stupid. That's just
how
one
much
thing.
do you think I was just watching them. You got the originals. Do you know how much money you could get, Kev? You better goddamn sell them shoes.
I was just watching a movie last night, man. The brother was locked up for 15 years, right? So when he was getting released, he was at the counter where they was giving him his stuff back, and he had some brand new J's that he got locked up in. And old boy was like, man, dog, you know how much these worth on the streets right now? You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, this boy, you get $500 for these joints.
Yeah, I also have some watches that I paid a bunch of money for. Now that I doubt I could get resale value for it. They're not Gucci's, they're not Rolexes.
You was a dope boy, Kev? What you were doing?
I was a hard worker.
Jewelry and Jordan. Shit, what you had going on?
I've always been a hard working brother who treated himself very well. I haven't hustled since the year 2000, and I probably lived better after that with legal money than I did with that, because I worked hard as hell. I worked goddamn 2 jobs for damn near 4 years, 7 days a week. So I've always been a hard worker, and when I work hard, I play hard. So that's why I can look around now and say this was some dumb shit, because you know what? If I had just invested that money, if I had bought some stock then on some startups with maybe one of my JoJo rodeos that I paid $600-700 for back in the days, imagine what that stock would be worth now. I could just pass that along to one of my kids and say, oh shit, baby girl, you ain't got to worry about nothing. But that watch is just sitting upstairs because I don't have the desire to even wear that type of shit no more. So, and I'm not trying to floss on people. I'm trying to show people that even when I talk about something, I talk about it because I know it, because I've been wasteful with money. I went and got the new Cadillac, the fresh caddy whip and all that wood and leather and wood. I'm a Pimp C. I'm a UGK alumni. So I had to have diamonds.
James Jones.
I had to have a top back and all that. And then that car been gone so long, it don't make no sense. Like it was, I still got my old school, but these are material possessions, is what I'm trying to say. And it's
I can't
okay
let
to
my
have that.
Eldorado go, man. I got a
Listen,
97 Eldorado in the garage that don't work, but damn it, I'm gonna get it fixed one day.
that's what we keep telling ourselves, right? Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. I stack more stuff. I got a 71 Monte Carlo, and it's got more stuff stacked on it than a shelf. Like, because I keep saying that next year I'm bringing it back out. Right.
Right.
Whatever. Right. But so I'm saying there's our leverage. That's the point of this conversation. People are like, oh, this shit done turned into them flossing. No, there's our leverage that Kamar talked about. He answered your question when you said, where's our leverage? Our leverage is in our money. If economic boycotts are very, very important. If you look at how the civil rights movement really got a kick in the ass, it was when Martin Luther King and them brothers and sisters down there in Alabama got mad because of what they did to Rosa Parks, who was not incidentally the first sister to be arrested for not moving on the bus.
Right.
Right. A whole other show about light-skinned people
She
versus
just
dark.
had connections.
Right.
Very true.
But when they said we ain't riding y'all bus no more, and that bus company got to losing money, they said, hold on, no, y'all can ride. And instead of them saying we're gonna start our own bus company, we got back on their bus. Right? Like if we did it,
like, all right.
because we went for inclusion instead of empowerment, right?
Right.
And
Yes.
if we say where's our leverage, because I vividly remember Brother Mike McGee Jr. Years back when the whole Frank Jude thing happened, and Frank Jude text messages me like every day. Like I was telling him I was gonna bring him on the show, but I don't really like when people text me every day. It's kind of annoying, so I'll be like, I'm not, it's weird. It's weird energy. Shout out to him though. I'm not trying to diss him. I'm just saying, just take the day off and I'll bring you on the show. But when that first happened, when Frank Jude got beat up by the cops, and Mike McGee Jr. was saying, let's have an economic boycott. We're gonna shut the North Side down. Nobody spend any money tomorrow. Foot Locker says, shit, we got some pink Jordans coming out tomorrow. Midtown Foot Locker line was around the corner. And I think about 2 or 3 people got beat up waiting in that line to get some of them Jordans. Right? I keep coming back to Jordans, right? But so that goes to show you when it comes to economic boycotts, we can't get on code. And I keep saying, let's just make one day a week where we go out and shop. You go out and spend what you want on that week, but then don't shop no other day that week, because that's where the extra leakage comes in at. Because if I fill my car up on Saturday and I don't go nowhere, then I don't got to fill up until next Saturday. But when I'm constantly out here in traffic, I got to keep filling up. So I'm going to that Arab who's trafficking young black sisters in the neighborhood or saying inappropriate, hey, baby, are you doing? I done heard Arabs say inappropriate shit to black women plenty times, man. And I'd be like, oh, hell no. I done damn near went to war with them about talking to kids raggedly in the store before. Like, man, I beat your ass. Stop talking to them kids like that, man. So, and then I've had them run out from behind the glass up on me, and then they figure out I'm 6'2" and they 5'6" when they get up on me, and they look up and say, you leave my store. You better take your ass back behind that glass before I boot your ass to the moon. But that's another show. Catch me now with a bad back. You done beat the hell out of me, right? But yeah, man, it's Outlaw Radio. Babies, fools, and babies and fools, however you want to put it. And they say that's the only people that God has mercy on. It's babies and fools, right? So you got to decide, which one are you? Are you a baby or are you a fool? I guess that's what it's coming down to. Because if you're gonna tell me now, well,
shit, I'm gonna be God.
Okay.
I ain't gonna be the baby or the fool.
There you go.
That's dope.
Player or pawn, right? Remember we did that show.
Go, Kumar.
Right.
Why you didn't get Kumar the clap sound? Come on now. Yeah.
He can get it. Mark can always get his applause on here. That's why I always tell him make sure his mic is clear, because he drops jewels. We want to hear what he got to say. We don't want him to sound like the CB with a brick of 19. This Kamar Carter coming at you, big baby. But yeah. So Courtney, you ain't been on in a while. You got a book. You got Courtney's Corner, because I want to give everybody a chance to plug what they do.
Hold on now.
This is what we always do. I want to make sure, because it ain't all about me, because I run my mouth all the time. And I want everybody to know.
I got my library in my living room now. So, my books used to be right here, but since I had to move, it's a whole new setup. So I got to be ready. But I had a book here. This is called, I don't know if I told you about this, Burn After Writing. Did I tell you about this? I feel like
What's the name of it?
Burn After Writing.
No, you didn't tell us.
So Burn After Writing is, we're not gonna say shadow work or anything, but it's you finding out about you, and then you're supposed to burn it after you write it. But it's a book. It's an empty book full of questions and different things. And I mean, I ain't been able to fill it out because some of these questions, shit, I think I got a lot of trauma and PTSD, so a lot of things I've blocked out. A lot of things I can't even think back that far. I'm like, damn, well, what was the first cartoon I watched? I don't know. You know, so it's a lot of you really having to think and answer questions about you. You know, so you can find this on Amazon. Burn After Reading. This is by who is it? Doesn't it's by Sharon Jones. Yes. So if y'all want to, tap into yourselves and write about yourselves, and sit here and really think about some shit. It's things like the nicest things I've ever done that no one knows about. The biggest hole in my life was left by who was left by? Who was left by, Kamar? The biggest hole in your life left by who?
My mother.
Real shit.
Yeah.
My mother. My mother. I can say my father and my mother, but I wasn't as traumatized when my father passed as I was with my mother. I've talked about this on the show many times. The closest I ever came to losing my sanity was when I lost my mother. So yes, most definitely biggest hole, and still to this day, not replaced, but because my wife and my kids have been such a strong support system for me, there's been some repair there. But yes, no doubt, moms.
Mm-hmm. Real? You got an answer?
Yeah, shit. I've repaired that hole, but the biggest hole that was left was by my ex-wife when she decided that she wanted to leave and try to take my kids and try to drop me down to every other weekend so she could get the maximum of $10.90 a month in child support.
Yeah, this book, it's gonna ask you
Well, you didn't
questions.
tell us yours, Courtney. You didn't tell us yours.
We on me. I didn't know. I thought I was just the narrator. My bad. But I think I want to say my mom, and my mom is alive, but my mom is I want to say about the most negative person in my life. She's about the most negative person in my life. Yeah. So she created a lot of issues I've had to work on and repair, still repairing. So I'm gonna say her in that aspect. But yeah, y'all get this book. It's just different things that really make you think about yourself and make you have to figure some shit out and really think and look into yourself. So Burn After Writing. Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I'd like to get that book because I like some of those questions are things that I kind of run through my mind. I've talked about sitting watching Tom and Jerry and watching Mammy, the maid, the housekeeper on there.
Big ass ankles.
Yeah, like I was a little
ankles.
kid and sitting there watching, looking at the TV, saying, "What is that about?" You know what I mean? Like watching the characterization of Native Americans and cowboy movies and all this kind of stuff. And it didn't hurt that I had a mom who always talked about that kind of stuff. Like, you see how they make us look? You see how the motherfuckers put us on TV? Goddamn it! Like, and my mother was like this, like certain shit we couldn't watch because she said that's a hunky show, right? Like, so I couldn't watch All in the Family, and I couldn't watch certain things like Maud and stuff like that growing up.
All in the Family was hilarious.
You know what, Kamar? When I got older and started watching it, Archie Bunker became one of my favorite characters.
Dog, he was just a real person. He was a real person, man.
Yeah, because he was so well rounded. But my mom was just like, no, like she just was like, I'm not gonna watch. You ain't gonna watch this racist motherfucker. Like she was just, I pay too much money for my goddamn TV to watch that bullshit. So, but yeah, so I'd like to get that book. Real, what you got?
I got one more question for y'all.
Okay, go ahead.
And the song for the opening credits of the movie of your life, what would the song be? I'm gonna say it would be, I don't know, because sometimes I want to be like Pimp C, like, bitch, you know you like that. You know what I'm saying? That's how my movie started. They like, okay, this movie finna be cracking, So like but I don't know. That's to y'all.
You know what? I'm gonna say Purple Rain. Let's go crazy.
That's a dope ass song.
And you know what? And Purple Rain for me, growing up, was one of my favorite movies. But I was just a kid, right? And so I wasn't really processing a lot of what Prince's lyrics were really about. And what he's talking about is dealing with your sanity and the pressure that you under in society, and people going to see a therapist, and they giving you pills to deal with all this stuff. And he's saying, I'm not gonna let the elevator bring us down and all this kind of stuff. It's a lot of those songs are about God and your relationship with God versus the devil. Even if you listen to I Would Die for You at the end. He's not talking about his love for a woman. He's talking about God's love for you. I would die. I would die for you. I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. I'm something you can never comprehend. So I would have to say, yeah, that would, let's go crazy. Story of my life.
Prince
Always
music
Oh, that was
Prince
good.
music
I
was
want to take
spiritual.
bitch. You like that back now. It's a little too ratchet. See, you done got deep. I'm gonna take that back now. I'm gonna think about it. Probably some Kanye West now. See,
no.
power.
Go ahead, Kamar.
Man, I don't know, man, because see, like I feel like my life is still evolving so much where it's hard to pinpoint a certain song. Like if you talk about different periods in my life, I could give you different songs. You know what I'm saying? But
what's the intro music? Bar, so is the movie coming on? The credits and names rolling. What's the music?
The
playing
intro music.
Yeah.
The intro music.
Yeah.
Oh shit! It would have to be something from Earth, Wind, and Fire because I was born in the 70s.
Okay.
Like I don't know, Shining Star or something like that.
Shining
Fantasy.
Star.
You know what I mean? I'm here. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. Earth, Wind, and Fire was too deep. Too deep. They don't get enough credit for it. But you young people don't value that kind of artistic creativity anymore, anyways. I'm itching to hear Rail's song. I'm over here just waiting.
I know, Rail.
Yeah, Rodney, see it, can't you see?
Right.
What's so pretty, you and me.
You know what? Shit, that's some because y'all drop some shit like I'm a little bit of Gandhi mixed with Pimp C, so I would say Pimp C Love the Ball. I love that shit. Or Gucci Mane and Gorilla Zoe, One Hell of a Life. I want them to play that shit at my wake. Like whenever I transition, I don't want no motherfuckers crying. I want it to be a ball because I'm only going to the next level. I want them to play One Hell of a Life by Gucci Mane and Gorilla Zoe, and then Pimp C Trill Niggas Don't Die.
What you got, Courtney? Did you give us one? Because I know you said you was thinking about Pimp C.
I did think Kanye was power, but DMX got this song called Fame, and I think that is like one of my favorite songs. DMX Fame.
Okay.
I'm gonna live forever, never gonna die. Only thing I fear that I'm never gonna fly.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with that one. I would encourage y'all too to check out Love Hurts by 8Ball and MJG. It's on the In Our Lifetime album. Beautiful song. Beautiful. And that album is underrated, by the way. It's one of the greatest rap albums ever made in our lifetime.
Definitely is.
Unfortunately, is their last Suave House album, but it's one of the great, man, from top to bottom is one of the great. So, but yeah.
But Kev, my movie could start off with 8Ball and MJG armed robbery. I did steal a Porsche when I was like 17, high speed chase with the police. So, that could be the opening scene. You know what I'm saying? Armed robbery. I'm in the.
Well, I would think you would start out as a baby. In the beginning of the movie, I don't know. You're going to be a baby.
That's what pull people in. They're like, oh, shit. Then I crash into a tree. I hop out, get the run. Police. Woo! That's a good intro. You sucked in now. You like, damn.
Yeah, this spun out of control quick.
We're going to make a deal.
Yeah. Gangster Love by the Billboards. That'll be my theme song. Mind of a lunatic.
And then that's when you get to talking like that was me back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And then fast forward.
Real, what you got popping, man? I know you got some jewels because you got books and the whole nine. What you got popping, man?
Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna forever promote my book, 12 Steps to Becoming Your Own Dope. Because I'm really seeing, man, one thing I'm really seeing as a problem, and we can't get nowhere until we correct it, is accountability. We have to start taking accountability for where we are in life, and then we have to start taking responsibility for getting us to where we're trying to get to in life. And that's one of the things I put in my book. I quote CeeLo. There's a verse on Outkast in Due Time. You know what I'm saying? When he said, but even when you pray the next day, you got to try. I can't wait for nobody to come down out the sky. And that's some shit that I know us in the community, we have a problem with taking accountability. I posted a stat the other day that said, you've never seen me hop on Facebook and down talk women in generalization, because I understand that every interaction I had with the women I had interactions with was on an individual level. So instead of me getting bitter saying all women are this, I had to sit my ass down and say, what the fuck in me attracts these women to me, or what the fuck in me brings this out of women? Because sometimes we can bring a character out of people that ain't in them. Sometimes, like, as a kid, there used to be motherfuckers that could pull the bully out of me. I'm not a bully, but I always hated other bullies or obnoxious people that put other people down. You know, and they could, and I used to have to keep myself in check because they could pull the bully out of me. So sometimes we have to examine ourselves and stop projecting our problems. I'm in this position because they did that to me. At the end of the day, you decided to fuck with that person. So realize what within you made you fuck with that person. Like, I realized growing up, I was an insecure ass dude. So I let my provision pull people in. And then when you present yourself as a provider and you cast yourself in that role, you can't get mad at people when they expect that shit. So I had to go within me and realize I got more to offer than provision and monetary shit. I got game, I got knowledge, I got encouragement, I got edification. So it's just about taking the accountability for where you are and taking the responsibility of getting yourself where you're trying to get to. And that's why everybody should have a copy of this, 12 Steps to Become Your Own Dope, available on Amazon. If you got a copy, buy one for your... If you got a copy, tell somebody else to get a copy and buy one for your emotional ass cousin.
That's right.
Last but not least, Mr. Kater. I know you got a lot. It's about to be summertime. It's gardens. It's what you got. What you got going on, man? Because your mic went out in the beginning. I seen you with Reggie Brown. I seen you out here hobnobbing, rubbing elbows with the rich and famous. What you got popping, man? Bless us with you.
I'm living life and enjoying it, man. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, you know what I mean, discovering my own dope. You dig what I'm saying?
Hey, there you go.
The thing is just for me right now, you know what I mean, is to stay busy. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different pop-ups going on. I got different stores that want to get this vitality in there. So you know what I mean? I'm in the process of spreading this joint out.
That's fly as hell, man. I always wanted to be the plug to stores. Like, I don't really like the public like that, so I don't want to deal with them. But I want to do my drop-offs and pickups from stores that enjoy dealing with them.
Hey, Jay-Z said, if you can't buy the building, at least stock the shelf and keep you stocking till you stack it for yourself.
That's how I go.
So that's what I'm on, man.
Shit, I'm trying to get my book in the stores. I'm going to have to holler at some folks.
Word mob in the building, man.
I might be able to help you out.
For sure. Shit, I'm going to link up with you on that, man. Mm-hmm. And plus, I need some of that vitality, man. I told you my kids brought these damn cooties from school.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I got blueberry pineapple vitality at Lush Popcorn.
Shit.
In the slushy machine. So you're going to get it as a slush.
Okay, for sure.
I was gonna hit you anyways because I need some sea moss. I need my sea moss capsule. So we'll talk. We'll chop it up. But as you can see, my point of this whole thing is that it's a bunch of individual stars on the show who do their thing, and we all come together like Voltron. And it shows you that great people can be unified. We live in a city of silos, man, and it doesn't have to be that way. Because we can all work together. Because the one thing about everybody on this show is they know their role and they stay in their lane. Nobody's jumping in nobody else's lane. I'm not trying to make vitality because Kamar's making it. He's not starting no podcast tomorrow. He might guest star on plenty of them, but he's like, I'm already doing that over here. What I do is this. Rail got books. I'm not writing no book. I promote Rail's book. Courtney does her thing with her juices, but it doesn't collide with what Kamar does. You understand what I'm saying? Great minds can work together. Unity. Exactly. Intentional solidarity is what I always talk about on the show. We got to get together. We got to be on code. We have to show these people better than we can tell them. And what we have to show them is we can be together. And we're not going to let you all divide us. Not by religion, not by wealth, not by education, not by where we live. None of that. If we black, let's be black. Let's all be black on one accord and be one nation under a groove. I seen some footage of an old black man who's a 72-year-old black man on the bus beating the hell out of some kids in Louisiana. And some people said, well, that's what those kids deserve. And some people said, well, shame on him. He don't need to ever be with kids again. The thing about it is whatever needs to happen to him, it needs to be dealt with us by us within our community, and don't nobody else need to know about it. We need to stop putting all our business out in the street. I understand social media is fun, but you know what? When you put your business out there and people like criticize you, and then you in your next post you say you got haters, or you don't understand why somebody always got your name in your mouth, in their mouth, that's your fault. It's your fault. Stop putting your shit in the street. Now it's been a great episode. Fools, babies and fools, man. And we talked about abortion. And we talked about the woman's right to decide. I'm gonna stick on the fact that I feel like women should be allowed to make whatever decision they want for their bodies. As a man,
Exactly.
I don't think you should be able to tell a woman what to do with her body, because God knows if men had to have babies, it'd be 2 motherfuckers left on earth. Because I'm not going through the whole process. I was there for both of my kids' birth, and my wife is a way stronger individual than I ever could be for going through it. Trust me. I feel like I did the easy part, right? Like just putting it in there. So, but and even after the child is born, to still be able to nurture the baby and to raise the baby is something that's very special within a woman's nature. So a man shouldn't have the right, whether he's an elected official or not, to decide what a woman can do with her body. At the same time, it gives you no reason to go out here and be loose as a goose and haphazard with your body. Ladies, be more careful who you give it up to. Now, if you get raped, if somebody takes it from you, somebody violates you, then that's on them, and we got to deal with them in a certain way. But be responsible. Brothers, be responsible. Don't be out here barebacking and loose lipping, sinking ships, and then talking about, I ain't going to be here for it. You have it. You take care of it. Now, I know that there's been men who have engaged in that kind of behavior since the beginning of the time, but it ain't no time like right now to stop the bullshit, man. I keep asking this question to my people. At what point do we get enough of the foolishness? At what point do we get enough of the killing, the robbing, the stolies, the rape, the murder, the exploitation? At what point do we say enough is enough, man? We got to get it together or leave it alone, man. It is what it is. I'm going to come back tomorrow night with Outlaw Nation, because we didn't do the 2 shows this earlier this week. So if anybody got any spare time on their hands, they want to come and talk shit, because I'm going to talk a lot of shit tomorrow, because we got this Whack 100 and Big U thing going on, and this thing can get detrimental. We got a gang member mentality that's permeating in our community right now. And for some reason, I said this before, we got a bunch of brothers who always criticizing women, saying, well, the world is bad. Black people in bad shape because all the grandmamas ain't the same. They in the club twerking. All the granddaddies still sagging on the corner trying to thug out. I don't know why want to be old ass gangsters out here, man. We did that shit when we was young. It has no pension plan. You got to retire. You got to get to the point where you take care of those who you're responsible for. So we got some old ass want to be gangsters out here. Don't get me wrong. I had fun in the 90s, but that shit has been a long time ago, right? It's time to get over it, man. I want you to understand you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And if you don't understand that, something's wrong with you. But in the meantime and in between time, if your criticism of my community outweighs your contribution about my community, your ass is a motherfucking coon. I will see y'all tomorrow night, man. Peace and love. Word, Mob, Outlaws, Information Gang in the building, man. Peace and love, man.
For sure.